Hey legends, it's Seano here and we're back with another live video. There we go. So it's our round 6 chat live where we go through everything Supercoach and we'll also go through your teams as well. Before we get into it, if you are watching this video now, please subscribe if you're not subscribed already, or even if you're watching it in the future, that would be awesome. We're trying to get up to 500 subscribers. We're not far away, so go ahead and subscribe now. If you like the video, please like the video. And if you're watching in the future again, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're up to this week. And don't forget to join my Discord. And if you're out there now and you want to pop your team in my Discord, we can go through it on today's stream like we do every week. All right, let's get into it. Hey, there's a legend in himself, Mr. Cheese. How are you, Cheese? I hope you're doing well today. Good to see you, mate. Always nice. Appreciate you dropping on. Finally had a good week and scored 2-3-10. No longer 100k ranked. Very nice, buddy. Very nice. How much did that jump? As you can see, I scored 2-1-33, and we did get some green arrows. It wasn't exactly a massive jump, though, so we do hope we're going to do a bit better this week, but there are a lot of injuries and stuff out there to talk about. So I think we've got a fair bit to talk about today. As usual, I'll talk a little bit about my team, and then we will go into your teams and what you guys are thinking about out there. You jumped 47k. Yeah, it only takes 1 or 2 big scores. And if you do that again next week, you'll jump another big chunk, which is I'm hoping to do something like smack out a couple of 2,000. Probably if you get more than a 2,250 a couple of weeks in a row, you're going to jump a lot of spots. So yeah, and it only takes one big one. If you actually pull a 2-4 or 2-5 out of your backside, like this, the team of the week did this week, you definitely could do it. So I'll let you guys and girls out there know a little bit what I'm thinking about trades. It's Thursday and I'm still not 100%, but I'm thinking at the moment we've got some injuries. Now, I know there are a lot of injuries out this week between Butterick, Anderson, Lukosius, Dev Robb, Jordan DeGoey, if you got him, Ed Richards possibly out. You know, there's a lot of rough stuff going around. Hey, Corey, Dawson is out too. Thank you, Corey. Yes, condolences to Dawson and his family. Hope, hard times for them, so hopefully they get through it. Yeah, so there's a lot of outs. I've got some of the issues, but not all of the issues. I dodged a little cautious that I almost got in. I don't have DeGoey and I don't have Dawson, but I do have Butterick, and he's a go. So I'm thinking I kind of need to bank some cash because we got no cash in the bank. So I think for me, Thomas Edwards seems like the most reliable rookie to keep his job security, keep his spot. So that seems to be where I think that I'm going to go for here. I don't mind Perez, but I don't think his job security is locked and loaded with Scrimshaw in the background there. Is it Scrimshaw? Yep. So, and then for my other trade, we will be going, we're going to get rid of Anderson. They're saying 1 to 3 weeks, but from the research I did, and I looked on AI, I think it's unlikely that it'll be back after 1 week. You'll be at least 2 weeks, I will think. You know, we haven't had much good luck this year predicting how long they're going to be out with injuries. I'm talking to you, English. If you come back this week, there's going to be some grumpy people, including me. But Anderson, he's been doing crap and giving me the shites anyway. So I think we're going to get rid of him, and we're just going to get in his teammate. Maybe I wouldn't mind having a look at him. I don't think you have to have him now, but I'm going to explain a little bit what I'm going to do, why, and I'm just going to show you another option that I was looking at. So this is one option. I only do 2 trades. I save a boost. like I said, I've kind of focusing on leagues now. Corey says Richards looks like playing. Yes, that's nice. Like he did last week. It looked like he'd been shot in the leg in the way he was screaming blue murder when he got taken off, but it seems to be fine again. So that's the one option for trades for me. Now, the other option would be to give the boot to Houston as well. I think I was doing how did I do it? I was keeping Houston. Oh, and I think I might have been getting rid of Deb Robb as well this week. No, that doesn't give me the money that I wanted. Oh, yes, it does. So what I would have done, so this is the other option. So undo changes, update, we take out Petrarca, and instead of Petrarca, we bring in Archie Roberts in the back line. And then how do we get, and out in the, we go Dev Robertson out here, move him here, and we get Rankinine, the rank man. Do I have to trigger my boost? Nope, it's there. Around 5 summary filters. Here we go, the rank. He's a bit rank, but, and that way we miss out on Petrarca this week, and we probably wouldn't be able to afford to get him next week, but we would have rank, which would obviously play in the forward line here. We are a bit worried about what position Todd Marshall is going to play, so we would have one of these backs from potentially either Sarong, or I would work it so Grill could be there. Probably out of Grill and Sarong, I'm not too sure who I favour the most. But so that's the other way. I'm not too sure. I don't really want to boost. As we said, we're targeting holding our boosts. And this way, though, I feel like we get two premiums. Well, we get two potentially premiums. Archie Roberts looks good. I think he's cemented that role down. I think if you're going to go there, you need to go there this week. And that's why I would have to do it this week, because he's got like a 20 break even. And if he goes up to 550, 560, he's going to be, he loses the value side of the pick. He's going to be the same as a Wanganeen Malira or a Lockie Ash or a Lockie Whitfield. So then I'm going to be choosing between them and him, and I'm not going to know who to choose. So if I wanted it, I could do it this way, but I don't think I am. I think I'm going to just save the trades and do what I originally said. Anderson out, Buderick out, Dev Rob goes up there, and we get Petrarca early. Like I said, if you can afford to wait on Petrarca for 1 week, he's probably not going to go up a lot. Don't know why I cannot see him. He should have the highest average. There he is. And the rookie. Tomas. So that's the two ways I'm thinking, crew. What do you think? If you were me, what would you do? Or is anyone out there who's just like, hold Nando's? You feel like you want to hold Dev? Yeah, I think holding Dev this week, only because I have to, basically, for me, is fine. And then I'll go Dev Rob down to Angry Anderson next week. Yeah, Cheese, like, if it was 1 week for sure, I'd almost say that I have to hold him. I'm also going to loophole Smith this week because I didn't do it last week and I got punished for it, just in case he has that dodgy roll again. Hopefully he has the good roll, but if he's got the dodgy roll, I'm going to loophole Smith, and I'm probably going to play Philippou over Todd Marshall on the field. And like we said, so yeah, instead of him, we'll probably have a Jakes or someone like a Farrow with a bit of DPP on the bench down there. So So that's how the team will probably look. Predicted for a 2,302 with the team set up this way. I already get Petrarca in. So I wanted to have a chat to you guys about the forwards. So obviously the forward rookies aren't doing great. The back rookies are doing really good. They're holding up their own. So that's why I don't feel like I need an Archie Roberts, even though I would like it. And the midfield rookies, well, now we've got so much DPP between the back and the mids. I have a lot of options for mids and back rookies, and they're all doing well. And if we click here, they're all making money. Sarong's going to make money. Jakes is going to make money. Lindsay's going to make money. Selwood's going to make money. Marshall, even if he has a crap role, should still make money. Grill's still got money to make. Blamir's still got money to make. Murdoch, hopefully back this week. Same. Jagger Smith is getting there if his role doesn't get the CBA roll back. If he gets the CBA roll back, we've seen he can smack out hundreds and redo and, restart his cash gen. We're just not too sure if that's going to happen or not. I think this might be a very telling week to see what's going to happen with him. Deb Robin out. Sharp is also not playing. So Gore McAndrew, Duff Tyler, who is going to lose me money probably this week. He's got a break even of 78. And originally I was going to punt him for Mr. White, Kalani White. But I think I got bigger problems this week. And if he loses money, he loses money. We paid $190 for him. If he goes back down to $190, well, I guess we lost 50, 60K. Hopefully he won't go below $190, but we can dump him for the $99K next week if we want to. But for this week, let's just keep him. Maybe he has a better week. Maybe he is coverage in case something goes wrong. I have a bad feeling that as soon as I get Kalani White in, that McAndrew or Gawn will have an injury. That's just how we run. So that's what I'm kind of thinking this week as in the way of trades. My vice captain will be straight. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to try and overthink it with matchups and stuff. I'm just going to go vice captain Bont into captain Gawn. I don't want to overthink it with all the matchups. So there are some other good options like Cheezel versus Richmond. And, if Luke Jackson, if he's a solo ruck, but I really think they're going to bring in Mason Cox. But if they don't bring in Mason Cox and you've got Jackson, I think a very good pick would be him as a solo ruck against the Eagles. Don't get too excited about Bailey Williams and his 100 score last week. Remember Bailey Williams from last year. He's not going to. He had a very easy matchup in Geelong Rucks last week. Don't get him. He's going to have really, really bad games when he gets dominated. And he's got a few matches like Gawn and stuff coming up which are going to crush him. So do not be getting Bailey Williams as an Eagles supporter. If he comes out and smacks another 100 this week, maybe you could think about it, but I don't think I'd be thinking about it. Both him and Flynn, doesn't matter which one played, got dominated in the last couple of years. The whole reason we got Flynn is because Bailey Williams got dominated. So he's a completely changed man. And maybe the new rules suit him more or something. But I definitely wouldn't be going there if I was you. Cheese, is a little weird here. So you confirm your trade of Watkins down to Murdoch. That's fine. Definitely should be getting Murdoch Crew if he's named and you don't have him. But you would prefer not to waste a boost this week and a can't afford Track, who is the 4 you want to buy. See, I'm with you, Cheese. If I do that other option, then Track, even though his break even is not huge, it's 100, right? So he's not going to go up that much, but I probably won't be able to afford him for a couple of weeks. So say he does come out and plays well and gets the full CBAs, he doesn't get, low tog or anything, and he gets like a 120 for both weeks, especially with Nando's out of the team. That's an extra 20, 30K. He'll be over 600K, which at that point, I probably think he's gone, especially without seeing what it looks like with Nando's, him and Rao and Bailey Humphries and all of them in the team, and they're playing Davies through that midfield as well. So, I think it's a risk going him early, but for me, I see him as a clear, at the moment, top 2 to top 3 forward, and I just want him in my team. And if I get someone like we talked about the rank, well, if we looked at rank again, He's also, his break even is 92. So even if he gets 100, 110, he's not going up very much. Potentially could pick him off next week if I wanted to. And I also think that if I don't going to get rank next week, I really think the next best forward is probably going to be Touk Miller. And he could go down enough for me to be able to afford him next week. I could potentially go a downgrade from into Angry Anderson from a midfielder and then chuck that money on top of Dev Robertson to get Touk Miller at a score of, let's see, doesn't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Say Touk Miller gets 100. Say he gets 100. He'll be at 514K. And so then, if you look at my forward line, where I think the most issues are, you don't really want Philippou on the field. I will have basically a complete forward line. I'll have Cheezel, Petrarca, Pickett, Myers, Flanders, Touk Miller. Both Petrarca and Touk Miller and Cheezel and Pickett, I can swap them up into the midfield if I have to, if a good forward rookie comes along, or if another forward sticks his hand up and says, pick me, I must be in your team. So I have that option, but then I kind of feel like I can count on the midfield and the defender rookies to hold me over for a few rounds, and then I can try and pick off the fallen primos, like someone like maybe like a Caleb Sarong that's probably going to be around just over 500K in the midfield, or somebody like that. So I'd have the forward line locked away, and then I've just got to worry about, well, getting a ruck as well at some point and filling in the midfield in these defensive positions. Now, when I looked at all the other forwards besides Touk Miller and Petrarca, and I did look at the buys, and I'm kind of fine with the buys. So around 12 buy, Petrarca, 1, 2, 3 primos only. If I get Touk, that's 4. 1, 2, well, I'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 only. So that's good for that buy. So that's what I'm thinking. And then the other thing I thought, though, I want to show you guys, for you guys who are considering the cheaper forwards, is anyone considering a Rank, a Rochelle, or a Connor McDonald? Because I did, after the trades video, I was like, I need a forward. I'm going to really do some deep diving in, researching these forwards. And I found some stuff on all 3 of them that I don't like. I found some dirt on them, and I don't like it. Yeah, you're holding both and hoping to get Touk Miller with their cash next week, Cheese. Yeah, I'm targeting Touk Miller, and whether I play him in the forward or the midfield depends on where he is as well. That's my plan as well. So I think that's a reasonable plan. So, all right, Cheese, let's talk about these forwards, right? So we'll look at those 2 as well. I haven't even really considered them, but we'll have a look at them. But I've got a few others lined up. So let's look at Rochelle versus Rankinine first. Elliot Yeo, I'm not going there. He's not a top 6. He's not a top 6. As a forward, did he get forward status, Elliot Yeo? If Elliot Yeo's got forward status, it could be, but I don't want to pick any Eagles. I don't want to pick Kelly. I don't want to pick Yeo. I'd still be a little bit worried. But let's do this. So this is what I saw, right? So you've got Rankinine and Rochelle, and these are these CBAs. So Rank, he did 32% here. And when he took 32%, Rochelle's dropped down to 35. So Rochelle had 52 in the first week. The next week, Rank didn't play that week. Next week, Rank plays, he does 32. Rochelle has 35. So then Rank only has a couple of, he has 5 and 19, and Rochelle has 64 and 65. But last week, Rankinine's went up to 27, and Rochelle's went down. Now, if you compare his score, so look at the scores when it was down, right? So round 2 and round 5. Now, we know last week he had a blinder and kicked 4 goals, but he's not going to do that every week. So in round 2, he only got a 70. And that's with the lower CBAs, with Rankin having a slightly higher amount. Not a lot, just a slightly higher amount. And so CBA is 35. So, and then in this one, in rank 5, where he still has 48, he kicked the 4 goals though. Without those 4 goals, that score is not going to be anywhere near 127. So that worries me about picking enough not to pick Rochelle and enough for me to just to wait to see what happens to Rankin. Does he get more of those CBAs? Does this trend of when he gets the bulk of, or the just a little bit more, and Rochelle drops, is Rochelle dropping 70s when he doesn't get goals? Even here, he still got 2 goals and he got a 70. So anyone I'm buying now, I want to be top of their line. And it just scares me, this uncertainty of like, is Rank, where does he fit in the CBAs? It's not clear. And so I want it to be super, super clear when I pick it. So that's why I decided not to go ranking this week. He'll still be affordable next week if he has a great game. If he gets another 100 next week, he'll only be like 450k. So he's still affordable, and maybe I could go there instead of a Tuke Miller and, get the cheaper option and save some money, and potentially get a Tuke Miller the week after where he might even be cheaper. So that's why I'm waiting on, I'm not going the Rochelle pick yet, because I just think it's up in the air whether it could go bad. It could turn bad. It could go good, but it could go bad. It's a risk, and I don't want to be taking too many risks. I don't have enough trades. The other one we did is, so that's rank as well. The other one I looked at was Connor McDonald. And the same, if we look at the Hawthorn CBAs, and we bring up him as well. So let's look at the CBAs first. So again, Connor McDonald has done better when Cam McKenzie has not been in the team getting 50% CBAs. So these 2 rounds, if we look round 2 and round 5 again, for the 2 rounds where he was getting 33%, 24%, then all of a sudden he gets 13%. Then it goes back up to 28 when McKenzie's not there. Then McKenzie comes back in and he gets 19. So let's see what he scored in round 2 and round 5. So in round 2, he scores an 89, and in round 5, he scores a 96. So reasonable, but his big 100 scores are not in those rounds. The 100 scores are in round 1 and 4 when he's got more of the CBAs. So for me, again, the role is not set by the looks of it. They're not too sure who they're running at that amount of CBAs. So again, I think it's a risky pick. You might be picking him, hope he's going to get you hundreds and hundreds and 12s, where actually he's more likely going to get you 70s to 90s. So again, the Connor McDonald pick, it could work out for you, but it might not. Now, we don't need our forwards to score too much to be in a top like 8 to 15. If they're scoring 90s, that's probably close to like a top 8 forward. So that's what makes them attractive. But I'd probably prefer, like when I'm thinking about, Tuke Miller. I'm thinking Tuke Miller can smack out 100 to 120 on a good day, and his floor might be around a 90. I'd probably prefer that, to pay up for that, and have someone I could swing into my midfield if I needed to, especially because the Connor McDonald doesn't have DPP, where both of Rank and I believe both Rank and Rochelle both have DPP. So I did that deep dive into both of them, and it's not that I don't like what I saw, it's that I'm unsure, and I don't want to be unsure. So Warner, JF, I don't think Jason Hort-Francis has showed enough yet at his price. How much is he? I want to see some games out of him. So he's at 480. He's got a break even of 112. So even if he smashes it out of the park, he's probably not going to go up that much. And I think he's only cracked 100 once. He had a big 100, but he's only cracked it once. So he's not going to get away from you. So I don't think I'd be going there this week. He's probably, even if he gets, let's give him let's say he goes crazy and gets a 130 this week, which very unlikely, but say he does that, he's only going to go up 7K. So you can afford to wait. I mean, it's unlikely he's going to go more than the 130. Even if he comes out and gets a 115 and you like it, well then, great. But that's why I wouldn't go him this week, just because you can wait and see and go him next week. He's only cracked 100 once, see what he's like. Let's see if he gets some form. And the other one is Chad Warner you want me to look at. I owned Chad Warner last week, and it was last year, and he was a nightmare. And I got him at around this price, so I don't know if I'd be that keen again. He's got 100 break even, so again, he's going to have to go big and he hasn't even cracked 100 once. So you can definitely afford to wait on him and see what's going on with him. So for a guy who wants your premium and hasn't even cracked 100 once, yeah, I don't know if I would be risky enough to go there. I'd want to see at least the Rochellis and the Connor, McDonald's of the world have actually done it. Like he was a massive roller coaster ride last year, so I don't think I could go either of those guys just yet. I want to see some more data. And you're saying Elliot Yo, Mr. Corey, how are you, Corey? I hope you're doing well. You're saying Yo for the forward line, mid forward, 430. 91, 86, 46 when he got injured. What's his break even? 126. So he's going to be close to 400. Another one where I think you can wait. You can wait on this guy, and maybe next week instead of me getting a Tuke Miller, I get one of these guys at around 400 or 430. They prove to me, the Rochelli comes out and gets the more CBAs again. What I'd actually prefer to see, sorry for the Rochelli owners out there, is Rankin to come out and get more CBAs and get another 100 again. And that would be enough, because we saw him do it last year, that when he gets those CBAs, he gets decent scores. So that's the one I'm really looking at. But I'm interested. I am interested. You're selling it to me. If he has a full-time on the ball role, but again, I wouldn't be doing it this week. I know we need forwards this week, so I can understand if you guys need to go there. I'm just being the devil's advocate and letting you know what I saw in the stats. So out of all of those guys, who do you guys like the best? Say you've got Yo, Rochelli, Rankinine, or Connor McDonald. I'm leaving out Warner and Jason Hall-Francis for the moment. Out of all those other guys, I mean, you can put Jason Hall-Francis, Warner in there you want. Who do you guys like? Who would you guys get, or who are you guys looking at if you're looking at forward in that cheaper bracket this year? At 430K next week, it could be even cheaper, Corey. It could be at 410, 420. He did give away 5 free kicks again in round 2 against Rochelli, though. You talk about Yo. Yeah, I think it's going to depend on his role, right? And same as the people who jumped on Kelly, I told them not to do Kelly. So I really need to see some proof that they're the guys in the role and that's what they're going to be doing. I assume that Yo gets the midfield role over Kelly. I'm not 100% sure that's the case, but if anyone's being pushed forward, I mean, I don't know, but I would think that Yo is the man in the midfield over Kelly, but maybe I'm wrong. As an Eagles supporter, I'd probably prefer... I don't know who I'd prefer in there. I prefer whoever's doing a better job, and usually Yo has been doing a better job the last couple of years when he's not injured. Hey, Wayne Randalls, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you for dropping by. Who to prioritize this week, track or NAS? James, I think it depends on what are your issues. Do you have a weak forward line or a weak defense? If you're like me and looking at Philippou sitting on your forward line, and I also had Buderick in there as well, scares the living bejesus out of you, then maybe you go Petrarca like I am. I would like Nas, but I've got Sarong, Jakes, Lindsay, Selwood, potentially Blamiers and Grill, who can all score 70 on their day as rookies and are all making me money. So I don't want to get rid of any of those guys. So if you were like if you had Buderick and you're swinging Buderick back there, or if you're like getting in for Dead Robertson or something like that, it's fine. But I definitely wouldn't be cashing in on any of these rookies. These rookies have money to be made. We've already burned a lot of trades. Like I'm down to 28 trades now if I don't boost this week. And so I'm thinking that the rookies in the midfield and defense can hold me up for a while, fatten up till it's time to cull them. And then hopefully, I think it's a lot of people are talking about one ups, one downs. And I think an interesting topic of conversation is one up and one downs don't happen very often. Even if Jakes got 300k on him and Selwood goes up to say 250, 270, finding a rookie on the bench that actually plays more than 2 or 3 weeks in the mid-season can be very tricky. So you're going one down, but you don't want to go down to a non-playing rookie. So it's not as easy always as just going one down, one up every week. You might find that there aren't rookies available. And that's why I'm going Edwards this week. I don't love him. I only think he's going to score 50s. I don't think he's going to make that much money. But next week, Angry Anderson playing for Collingwood comes in for Deb Robb, and he looks like, if he can hold his position, a good scorer, maybe even a scorer, on-field scorer as a mature age, good player. He had some good stats, did he not? If we look at his stats from last week, I believe he had some very nice stats round 5. So, and he's also, we know that backside is out. Magpies and Dockers. So he's got a little bit of Angry Anderson, he had 16 disposals, 15 kicks, 1 handball, 5 marks, 6 tackles, which is always nice, 6 contested possessions, accuracy rate of 63%. I keep forgetting what DE means. You guys can tell me again, even though I asked you about 2 weeks ago. For a score of 79 with 67% time on ground. So that's only 67% time on ground. He could get quite a bit more this week with Degoe being out, if he gets a bit more of a run in the midfield. When I did look at, they did bring in another midfielder, those at Edwards, team lineups. They brought in Edward Allen, so they did bring in a midfielder, but they've got 2 going out. So I feel like he can get some more time this week, and he could be a valid pickup next week. And the good thing is he's not being brought in for these midfielders. He was already in the team. So, I'm thinking he's going to be my downgrade next week. Because I need money, we'll go Tom Edwards this week. If I had to go early someone on this week, it'd probably be him. But hopefully I've learnt my lesson when it comes to going early on people. So, James, I think it's team dependent, but they're both, Nas, I think, is potentially going to go up more money, right? The Wang, whenever I search him up, I always call him the Wang. The 108, so he's not going to get away from you either. So both Track or Nas are not going to get away from you. So if you're planning to get one this week and one next week, I'd probably go Nas this week and Petrarca next week, just so you can have a look at Petrarca and make sure he doesn't re-injure himself or whatever. If it's a case of your forward line looks disgusting and you've got like lots of rookies like me playing well in the back line, then maybe I would go Petrarca. So I think they're both gettable next week. They both potentially could smack out a 130, but they're both around the same starting price. And so they both have around the same break even, 100 and 108. So I think either is fine, depending on your team structure and what you want this week. I think the riskier option is Petrarca. The safer option is Nas. Cheese, one to look out for if Sam Durham gets his mid-roll back, with Don's usually a decent 90 scorer and consistent, but inability to go big at 400k, he's definitely a watch. Is he a mid only, or does he have some forward? He's a mid forward at 400. Okay. Hasn't lit the world on fire this season, so you have to get that roll back. Again, I only want to pick guys who I think are going to be the top 6, especially if I'm leaving myself for just one spot here. I think these guys, maybe Flanders, we're just praying that Flanders is going to be a top 6 forward, but we don't think he is. Unfortunately, we all predicted that moving to the midfield would be good for him, but let's be honest, the half-back role is where he got all of those big scores and big points when he was playing for Gold Coast, and that seems to be the role where he racks it up. He still might be learning the old midfield role a little bit, so hopefully he gets there, but at the moment it looks like this 88 is probably going to be right around what we get from him. But I think Durham, good idea. Rankinine is the one you're going for, Wayne, out of all the people that we talked about. Rankinine, but you have to see the CBAs increase. Yep, that's why I think it's fine to have a look at him for another week. He's not going to go up much more money. I'm with you, Cheese. If Rank jumps out and says, if Rank can punch out a 100 plus this week and his CBAs stay up or even increase slightly, I'll be all over that, as he was. What did he score last year? I mean, he was a top 6 forward last year, correct? We will get to your teams in just a moment, crew. I just wanted to have a chat about this forward situation with all the injuries out there. So last year, 2025, he averages 99.7, almost right there on 100. And he comes out and he's got the capability of getting scores like a 121, a 129. He had a 59 here, which he's going to do. But a 97, a 105, a 131, a 99, 81, 89. So a 138, a 120. He's capable of pumping out a big score. He doesn't necessarily need goals. This game he only had 1 goal. This game he had 3 goals for the 129. He had 5 goals for this 131. He usually scores a goal a game. He seems to have scored every game except for this 62. Don't know, maybe he was injured in this one where he only got 34. I don't know where that... Oh, that's this week. So he seems to score a goal every game. Where he doesn't, his scores can be a bit low. And the CBA, so as we can see, when he averaged this, his CBAs were, so this one where he got 100, it was 62. Another 100, he gets 25 CBAs there. And these ones where he's getting the biggest scores, 120, he's got 68% here. So 50, 60, 40, 38. So you really want to see him around 50% plus CBAs or close to it. Yeah, definitely over 35% is what you want to see from Rankinine to make him seem like a fairly reliable pick and a pick that can get you a big score. I mean, he can score otherwise, but he needs the goals to do it. If he's got the CBAs, he looks like he'll have a nice floor of around, well, not a nice floor, but a floor of a 70 and a a ceiling of like 120. Hey, Sight, how are you? If that's how you say your name, Seat or Sight 806. I think everyone is heavily sleeping on Murphy Reed. People are worried about his CBAs and hating Young coming back, but if you actually watch the game, he doesn't need them to score. That's correct, and he's very clean with the ball, but I still don't think he's a top 6 forward. I think if you're going to get him, you had to already got him while he was cheaper. Now he's like at 400k. I don't think he's an option anymore. Don't worry, I think he's the better Reed. I think we got gypped in the Reed books. 406. Young is coming back. I do want to see what that looks like. He's only cracked 100 once. Then he's 80s and 90s. So I think this is it. He's an 80s and 90s man. And if we do look at the CBAs, just for out of interest, Murphy Reed, 40, 20. So the two ones where he's got the most are round 1 and round 4. Is this him? No, that's rank. So round 2 and round 4 we said. Round 2, he gets an 80. Round 4, he gets a 90. No, 115. So there you go. That's pretty good. So yeah, but the big game, he got the more CBAs. He doesn't need them to score, but look, that proof is in the pudding. And this one preseason game, he got 120. So he needs kind of 25% to get the 100, is what it looks like. He can still probably jag one if he gets a couple of goals or something without it. But for a consistent player to get you 90 to 100, you probably want him to have 25%. And if Young comes back, we don't know what's going to happen. So I think you're right. I like him. He plays really well, but he's a little bit, again, just like the Rochelle and just like Connor Buderick, I think he's a risk. And I'm not taking any risks anymore unless it's a proven, like Rankinine, I think out of all the risks, is the one who's proven who's done it before. He's been a top liner before. If he can get the CBAs up where we know he scores at top liner scores, I'm in. Rochelle hasn't done it before. Reed hasn't done it before. Connor Mack hasn't done it before. So all of those guys, I'd even be considering the Warners and the Jason Horne-Francis above them, just because I know they've done big scores before and can do it. That's just me. If you're keen on a Murphy Reed, I've got him in some of my draft picks. You can go there, but for me, I'm definitely targeting. I think I'm prepared to pay up a little bit to get the forwards that I trust more, like like I said, like a Tuke Miller and a Petrarca, and then I'll try and pick off the midfielders. Instead of trying to pick off a forward at 450k, I'll try and pick off like a Caleb Sarong at 500k and just close my eyes and hope it works. Or a Jordan Clark, another Freo boy who could be less than 500k. I'm just going to pick them up and I'm going to close my eyes and pray that they do okay. Ride the roller coaster. Corey says you like Rochelle the best, but you're going Bailey. Oh, Zach Bailey's another one who we didn't talk about, who I also have reservations about. I think he could be the best out of the bunch, but he also has issues with CBA time and McCluggage getting more time. When McCluggage gets more time, I feel it could just drop his scores down a little bit. So McCluggage only got 38% CBAs last week. Zach Bailey got 38%. He was getting 40 out of 5. He dropped down a bit. Hugh McCluggage is not going to keep on getting... He only played half a game. He's not going to continue getting 38%. I guarantee you that. This number is going to jump, and it's going to take him away from someone. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Bailey is the man that gets taken away from. We do know, though, he can score without CBAs. He gets a goal or two every game. And out of all of them, I kind of like him almost the best out of them. So he got 100 last week, even with that. Is this Zach Bailey? Yep. Only 8% CBAs last week. I thought we just saw that he had more. No, he only had 8% last week. So he already lost a heap when McCluggage came back. I was looking at Darcy Fort, sorry. So he's already lost a lot of CBAs. Does that mean, did he score a heap of goals last week? How did he get this score? He scored 2 goals. So yeah, I like him pretty much from what he's done this year. I think he's had the most CBAs for these games, a 76, 115, and 107. Then he's gone back to, scored 2 goals and still got out of 130. So how much is he now? He's over 500K though now, isn't he? Would have been great if we could have picked him up when he was at the 470. Kind of wish I had got him instead of Brian Myers. He's 5'10 now. So he's really competing. You got to ask yourself a question then. Corey, do you like Zach Bailey or Tuke Miller better? Because they're going to be the same price. 66, he might go up 10, 20K. Tuke Miller comes down 10, 20K. They're going to be a very similar price between, at least just 10K between them next week. Who do you like more? I do like Zach Bailey. Out of all of those ones we named, I think this is the guy. He's more expensive, but I think he's more reliable. The only time Murphy Reed. I still don't think he's a top 6 forward side, and I'm only getting top of the line guys. I only want top of the line guys. I'm not buying anybody. I'm not buying for an 80 or a 90, 80 to 90 average. I'm buying for, I want 100 average. And that's a bit wishful thinking for the forward line, but that's what I'm hoping. I don't mind him, but I think there are better options. Maybe next week you only go Anderson as a 1 trade, Corey. I'm hoping to do a 1 down, 1 up, like I said, to a Tuke Miller or whoever. If there's somebody else that tickles my fancy, maybe I'll go them. James, hello again, sir, to you. First season playing Supercoach, started off at 84K and currently ranked top 3K. Oh, geez, that's pretty good, mate. Doing a lot better than me then for your first season. 27 trades left and 2 boosts. What would you say is your top 5 tips for finish with a higher rank? Okay. You want to say some trades? You've gone hard so far, and there's no problem with that. Getting your team right early is important, but you need trades at the back half of the season to make sure when everybody else runs out of trades, you need trades to keep pushing up the ladder. Otherwise, you'll drop off. You'll go really high, and then like I've done, I got to within the top 200 once, and I finished at the end of the season between 1,000 and 2,000 just because I ran low on trades. So make sure you don't have to keep a lot, but you have to keep some. Plan for the buys. Make sure that you have a decent buy structure and you don't have too many people out. A couple of bad buy rounds can really hurt your overall average. If you've got like if you can't even get 18 on the field is what I'm kind of saying. And then, yeah, just don't take too many risky players. Once you've got a decent rank, don't, a pod here or there is fine, but don't go too many pods. Don't take too many crazy pods. I guess I can't really think of too many other things, but yeah, just make sure you do your research. And I would now, if you already ranked that, to save your trades and save your money, pick off the value players. I know I want Bailey Smith in my team. I want Holmes in my team. But now that the team is set, I can't afford to be paying 600K for players. The guys who have won it in years past, they've picked up the players like the Sarongs or the Jordan Dawsons or whatever. When they get to anywhere between 500 and 550K, they snap them up. They look like, they might not be in the best form or whatever, had a few bad games, whether it's an injury-affected game or something's going on, and then those guys come back into form, do really well for them in the back half of the season, and also they gives them money freed up to buy other people, and so they can get their team to full primo. I guess that's the other thing. You want your team to be at full primo, probably very close to when you come out of the buys. When you come out of the buys, you want your team as close as possible. It could be a bit tricky this year with all the injuries, but to being full primo. Well done on the rank though, mate. First year, that's amazing. Keep up the excellent work. Corey says, I only have 510K or lower for your team to get a forward without a boost as your issue. Yeah, that was my thinking as well when I wanted to get the 2 players in this week, Corey. I understand your predicament completely, and that's why I went through those forwards as well. So I hope that helps. Probably didn't help you very much. It probably gave you more questions than answers, but at least you know the facts now. At least you've seen the facts and what's happening, and hopefully you can make the most educated decision. Is Murdoch in this week? I hope so, buddy. As an Eagles supporter, I hope so. I believe he's been said that he's available to be picked. So I assume if as an Eagles supporter, if he doesn't get picked and he's available, I'd be stamping my feet, because I think he showed he's kind of the heart and soul of the team after just a couple of weeks. He loved the way he plays. He plays like a man who was literally on the tools, a month or so ago. And now he's doing something he loves, and you can see the passion on his face, and I think it makes the players around him better. So I certainly hope he plays. I think we're a bit ambitious if we think he's going to score 100 every week, 110, 92. But if he could get us a nice 75, 70 plus, he'll make us $1 million. He'll make us a ton of money, and I think he'll be, very good for West Coast. You won't have the cash to go Bailey, yeah, Corey. Otherwise, I mean, if I was to rank them, it's going to be a bit of a pun here. I would probably say, I mean, he's more expensive. Like I almost put Zach Bailey now in the Tuke Miller league. It goes Petrarca at 570. Don't think there's anyone else in that ballpark in the forwards I'd even consider paying that much for. Then it goes down to Tuke Miller and Zach Bailey, who by this to next week is going to be around the same price. And then the rest, and I think I like Rank, Rochelle, McDonald, and, and then come the Yos, the Warners, and those guys. All of those guys I'd like to have another look at, but I don't know, if I had to go this week on one of the guys below Zach Bailey, I was considering Rankin, so I'd say that's me, but he's only scored the 100 as well, so I don't really trust him too much either. And that's the whole problem. It's a risky pick because we don't know what's going on with the CBAs there. So it's all of those ones below the 510, everyone below Zach Bailey, I think, is a risk. They're all decent options. They're all going to score maybe the ballpark to be a top, anywhere from a top 4 to a top 15 forward, which isn't too bad because if they're scoring 80s to 90s, you're probably okay. So they're probably all decent options at their prices, but I don't think the only ones I would say that I'm pretty sure are going to be a top 6s. Top 6 forwards are Petrarca, Tuke Miller, and Zach Bailey, if you don't have a Pickett and you've got the money, I think he will be as well. I'm hoping Graham Myers will be, but the jury's out on him. And obviously Sheasel will be. And Flanders, the jury is obviously out on him too. If you didn't have Flanders, if you're the one person in the world that does have Flanders, I don't think I'd be getting him in. Yeah, so Cheese, that's the same. That's why I'm going Petrarca early this week. I don't love it, but I don't like any of the other options either. I don't feel confident in any of the other options. That's why I think I'm happy just to get Tuke Miller next week as well. And if I have to dump either whoever, any of these three guys, they can live in my midfield if a better forward option comes along. If Yo comes out and gets, plays full-time midfield, gets 115, then gets like 110 the next week after, and he's 420k, well then, I mean, he's held together with sticky tape, and I would hate to pick him, but I might just pick him just because I know he could go 100 plus in the right role if he doesn't get injured. Would Butters for Petrarca an option? Hawks might stuff Port up. No, you don't sell your premiums. You definitely don't sell Butters. Kuyang, yep. Kuyang, no. You never sell. Now is not the time to sell premiums. I would potentially hold. I would be holding Noah Anderson if I thought he was only going to be out for 1 week, which, knowing my luck, he probably will be. But I'm guesstimating that he's going to be out for 2 weeks, and he was doing crap. But otherwise, I would just hold him and ride the wave. I definitely wouldn't be selling any premiums like Butters, who is actually doing, very well, one of the better players in your team. You're just going to want to get him back later. That's just a waste of a trade. If you're going to get to Petrarca, you either need to do it some other way or you need to wait. That's just it. Sometimes you have to wait. That's all there is, and you can't do anything about it. You have Bailey in your team. You mean you can't do an upgrade if you go him. You're already picking Bailey. Corey, is that what you mean? You already have Bailey in your team, and you can't do an upgrade if I go him. So you're getting Bailey in. You already have him in your team, or you're getting him this week. If you already got him in your team and you can't do an upgrade, you just live with it. Next week, so might save a trade with only going Anderson. Having 4 boosts, trying to win your league for sure. Yeah, so I've converted after my dodgy beginning to the season. I've really gone over to my league situation, and I'll show you. We didn't really talk about it on this week's videos, but who's on the top of the Seano Unlimited League this week? Look at that. I'm at 100th in my own league. Bubba Gump has overtaken 7817, who'd been leading for the first few weeks. Is now at 292 or overall rank. Shows how much you can easily drop. Like 7817 was at like 200 last week, and now he's at 977. So, and he didn't even have. Oh, gee, maybe we didn't look, but Bubba Gump is definitely having. Well done to him. He is leading, and he is in the top 300. So that's very nice. Now, as you can see, I'm doing terrible in that league, and most of these other, like the cash leagues and stuff, I'm not doing very well. We need to try and drag it back. Unfortunately, with a lot of these leagues, because they're all very good and professional players like you guys who joined the leagues through seeing my videos, it's going to be very hard to capture you. But this league, where I play my good friend Jason, or Master Beta, this week, yep, that's his name. He is a very good player, and I assume he will probably beat me this week. He doesn't have some of the problems that I have, but I am 4th. Even with my dodgy rank, I have won every game so far. I've been kind of lucky. If you were to look on points scored, I'm actually down in like 8th, but on actually wins and losses, I'm in 4th, so I'm doing okay. I will probably drop a game this week against Jason. It does say that I'm predicted to win, but he hasn't done his trades yet, and he hasn't probably optimized his team yet. So he has a few players that I'm very scared about. He has Holmes, who I would love, Like, this was another option for me. If I didn't go Petrarca, or if I traded out, if I lost it, here's another thing we can talk about. We'll just have a quick talk. I'll go back to him after this. So he has Holmes that I could get into my team with doing a bit tricky this week, or Finn Callahan, who I could get in my team this week. He does have a few issues. He has Bergman that's not doing great. He has Tom Stewart. If Holmes continues to play in the back line and steal all Stewart's points, that could help me out. But Holmes, I had someone ask me on the video earlier, do they think Holmes not getting CBAs will affect his score? And I think it could even be the opposite. I think Holmes can go just as big in defence as in the forward line, as in the midfield. And if he continues to play in the back line and he gets back status, he gets DPP for a defender mid, we're all going to want him at the end of the season. He'll be a top 6 defender 100%. You can take that to the Seano bank. So if you've already got him, nice. Very, very nice. And my friend already got him. So we'll see what happens then. The other thing, one more thing, and then we're going to talk about your team. So if you've got your team in my Discord, now's the time to be talking about, we'll talk about your teams instead of crapping on about my team. The Houston, I'm holding Houston. This is how, if I traded Houston here, I would have 600K. I could move one of these defenders back, and I would be able to get a Finn Callahan or even a Holmes this week. I could put Blemires back there, and I can't afford a Holmes. I would have to get the Perez kid instead of Thomas to do that. But I could get a Finn Callahan, and even though I'm a little bit scared of the James Jordan tag, I could do that and have 30K. And I like the look of my team like this a lot better than what I do with Houston in. But I don't want to use a boost, and I don't want to use trades. And I think Houston could give us a comeback game. I think a lot of people are going to rage trade Houston this week. And I'm praying that what would happen if I traded him, like when we traded Parrish last week. Parrish came out of smack to 130. So I'm hoping the rest of the community are going to do me a favor and trade him out. And then he's going to come and smack 100 plus for me. So how many people are doing it? So a lot of people at the moment, 5,000 people are doing it. Also, I really think the game didn't suit him last week. I don't love what I see, but the upcoming games are going to really tell the story. He's at home. Hopefully it's better weather. Hopefully there's more points kicked than 3 points for the entire game in the next few matches. So he actually gets some kick outs where, literally 3 points I think were kicked in the entire game. So as the kick out man, it didn't help him very much. But don't like what I see. Potentially will lose money. He has to get a 100 break even. So if he drops another 50, he's going to lose 25K. I'll deal with that problem next week. I'm just hoping that he can give me a 90 plus this week. Am I hopeful? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe not. But we picked him for a reason. He's had a couple of shit games. I think we need to at least have a look and try and sort the other issues out. If I did that with Houston this week and got the Holmes or Finn Callahan, that means I have to miss out on Tuke Miller next week. It means I would potentially have to, miss out on Petrarca and go someone cheaper this week. So we're just going to hold him and pray, that that'll be okay. We're just holding and praying. You're getting Bailey this week. You're getting him for sure. Means 1.9K in the bank. That's all right. Just means, like you said, Corey, you might only be able to do a downgrade next week. Can't upgrade every week. And let's just face it, even though we would like to, we don't have the trades to do it. We reached in upgrade season now, but at the same time, if you can do a sneaky week where you only do one or, one downgrade, or 2 downgrades of rookies, there's not a primo that you want or you can't afford them, that's okay too. To save a trade, or even if there's a week where you do no trades, there's no good rookie options, you don't have enough to go up. Don't be buying some inferior dude just for the sake of making a trade. just hold that week off, and on the back end of the season, that'll be fine. And don't forget, when you get to the buys, if you've got boosts left, you'll be able to use 3 trades plus your boost. So 4 trades in total. So you can, that's why I don't want to use a boost. So I'll still have 3 boosts left. I plan to use at least 1 to 2 before we get to the buys, and then save 1 for the buys. Last year I used my boost the week, I think it was the week before the buys, my last boost. Not only did I run out of trades at the end of the season, and I think we would have had more than what we've got now at this point, I also really could have done with the boost during the buys. That 4th pick was very, very helpful. If you can go, it allows you to go like either 2 down and 2 up, or even 3 down, 1 up. If you've got rookies that need culling, maybe you go 3 down, 1 up, and then you got next week you cull another one and you go 1 for 1 the week after. It could be very helpful during the buys, having extra boost. So I want at least 1 boost for the buys. I do think there's a good likelihood that I would have spent the other 2 before we get there, but we will see. If I can have 2 boosts going into the buys, that would be awesome. Cheese, what happens if you have a bad rank and 16th or 20th in most leagues? Well, that's why I'm happy that I'm actually doing well in the league that I really care about. If you're saying, for other people out there, if you're also got a bad rank and you're doing roughly in your leagues, well then it's a bit rough. Maybe then you just work it down to game on game. Like, yeah, that's the one advantage of being in a league with friends and people like, and even having you guys in my leagues, that at least I can say, hey, Cheese, we're having a match this week. Who's going to win this week? It's something to look forward to. I know we can get a bit down on Supercoach when things aren't going well, and things are definitely not going well for me this year. But the leagues keeps me interested, and it keeps me playing, not doing too much crazy stuff. I could just be, throwing the you-know-what at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and using every boost every week, but that's not my style. I want to play an overall season. I don't need to finish in the top 10. I'm quite happy to finish in the top 10%. And I think that, for me, as I often say, is a pass mark for me. So with, what do we got, 180,000 people playing? So basically, if I finish in, the top 15%, I'm going in top 10%, so the top 15,000-ish ballpark, I'll be pretty happy with that and call that very much a pass mark after starting this far down in the season. That will be a pretty good achievement. And if I could probably get in the top 10,000, I'll be very happy with that. I'll think I would have played and traded very well. Now it's going to make a big difference. It's going to separate the men from the boys, if you want to put it that way. The Eagles from every other team in the league. When we start trading and making the smart trades, the smart and the good trades, where it allows our team to progress more than the people who maybe take a few risks and those risks don't pay off. If the risks pay off, fine, but you don't want to do too many of them. Just like we did at the beginning of the season, where we took too many risks on mid prices, you don't want to do that during the middle of the season either. It's okay to pick a Rankinine every once in a while, or a Yo or someone, and just roll the dice, but you don't want to roll the dice every week. Like I would be, if I had Rochelle, Connor McDonald, Rankinine, Yo, all of my forward line, I'd be crapping my DAX every single week. All right, I feel LDU should be the number 1 Anderson replacement, Oliver. LDU has been amazing this year, and I did a video on him pre-season, saying how good I think he is, and then I didn't pick him, so that's my own fault. He has been very good. He has a very dodgy buy, Oliver, so beware round 12 buys. Probably not too many people are as swish as I am for round 12 buys at the moment. There was one point when I had 5, almost 6, but a lot of these injuries kind of saved me. Now round 16 buy is the worst buy for me. Another thing to take into consideration if you're looking at Rochelle, Rankinine, the LDUs of the world. But I still think he's a pod pick, Oliver, but I think he's still a decent pick, LDU. He's done very well. He's having probably his best year ever, you would almost think. So, I definitely think it's worthwhile. A good mention there, buddy. Thank you. All right, let's have a look at your team's crew. I've been crapping on about my team forever. Let's go and have a look at your teams. Let's actually look at some decent teams. Supercoach is a bit of fun, but it's frustrating when you plan a couple of months beforehand and get all excited just for you to have a rough week and a rough week. Yeah, I mean, that's it, cheese. Same. Like the day the Supercoach picker came out, I was on there and I was making plans and I was making videos for you guys and having all these great plans, and now I'm ranked like 60,000. So is that where I wanted to be? No. Would I have liked to have a better showing for you guys out there like I did last year? Yes. But it's still a game and we play for fun, and I actually really like chatting to you guys, so I'm not going to have a big sook and give up. And I'm already making plans for next year, but this year is not over. I still think I can make my target of top 10%. I just don't think you're not going to be seeing me like top 5,000 rank or anything like that. I think it's just we just misunderstood the new rules and didn't play well from the start with the people like missing LDUs and steals and things. We just put ourselves too far behind. Had a lot of fun just joking with friends and family how rubbish you am. Yeah, I mean, I'll take anything. If you guys want to give me a hard time, that's fine, as long as it's done in a fun way, I saw another streaming podcast where they have a few people on, and some nasty person commented something like, why is the guy with the lowest rank talking the most? I kind of felt like telling him to close his mouth in a lovely, friendly way. We're going to speak nicely because we got Angela here now, the lovely lady. How are you, Angela? You do not pronounce... Why do you... Rankinine? How do you pronounce it? I pronounce everyone's name wrong. Should we get out Ralph Wiggum?
Me fail English? Me fail English? That's impossible.
I get everyone's name wrong, Angela. It's just me. Rankinine? The rank? That's why I call him the rank. You should see me try and pronounce Zachalessalonlesi. I can't even pronounce my own name players. That's why I call Shanahan. I got it that time. Hey, Rang, how you going? Good ramble. Love my streams. Thank you. Rochelle or Rankin, both will get loads of midfield minutes this week without Dawson. Yeah, so this week, Oliver, it's going to be a bit tricky to find out who's going to be the main man in the midfield. Yeah. So, Cheese, that's who I was talking about. That's what I saw that, I know you hang out in their streams. Well, I saw that and I thought it was ridiculous because Janeth is like in the top 1,000 every week, and some smart ass in chat's like, why is the guy in the lowest score talking the most? Because he's got the biggest brain out of all of us. He's not only in Supercoach, but I believe he's studying to be a doctor. So the guy's a smart human being, and he's always up the top when it comes to Supercoach, and I listen to anything he says. I love those sort of play guys. Anyway, Michael here. Michael said he is trades this week of Watkins to Murdoch. There's still time to get your teams in, crew. We're not going to make it a 4-hour stream today, but we will get to your teams if you pop them in the Discord. Michael trades this week Watkins to Murdoch and Dev Rob to Roberts. And straight up Captain Gorn, as he doesn't have a loop. Ooh, I always worry about not having a loop. I guess if you can't get to Roberts some other way, I understand. What about this Smith guy? Surely he's not playing. He could be your loop, can't he? You could vice captain Dacos or something like that, or Bont, and then use this Smith guy unless he's playing as your loop. So I think you do have a loop, Michael. Less this Smith guy, whoever he is, plays. Sinclair, Roberts, McKercher, Houston. Still got Coleman. Not as great a score this week, but he has been doing better. Bont, Butters, Dacos, Walsh, Bruin, Smith, Blamiers, Farrow. Yep, all looks good. You've already paid the trades. Obviously got Murdoch in there. Jackson, I'm very interested to see if Jackson solo rucks. If he is, he's a sneaky captain pick, but I really think they're going to bring Mason Cox back into the team. Shees or Pickett, Myers, Flanders, Cook, Marshall. Looks similar to my team with McAndrew in flex. So very nice, Michael. Yep, your ranking, you told me your ranking went up. So you still, you're quite doing, you're in 30,000, which I think is reasonable. Eol, I don't know how to say your name. Team Watkins to Murdoch. That's all you're doing this week, mate. Just a Watkins to Murdoch. Bank some cash. I think that seems very reasonable. Your team, you got the Sinclair, Clark, Dacos, Houston, Fonte. Yeah, you're still happy with Fonte. You're not really to punt Fonte yet. Sarong. How much? If I was you, I'd be dumping Robertson as well. Oh, yeah, and you've got Lukosius. You really got to do something about your forward line, mate. If I was you, you're saying that you're going to get Murdoch. You really want to pick up a forward, either for Lukosius. Your forward line's looking a bit rough, and Robertson. You got some issues there in the forward line. So hopefully, this might be, if I had your team, I'd even consider the boost this week to get at least, so you got Buderick, Lukosius, and Robertson in your forward line. You really need 1 to 2 forwards to just make that not as brutal. You don't really want Lombard on your field. You got Marshall. We don't know what's happening with Marshall, whether he's playing forward or back. If he plays back, great. If he plays forward, it could be a disaster. Or he could kick 5 goals. Who knows? But it's just not as consistent. And Philippou will probably take a 69 off Philippou. I won't make the same joke that all the other content creators make. We'll leave that for next time. So I would honestly be thinking about getting some forwards if I was you, mate. Even the Fonte, you've got quite a solid back line. If Houston could pull his finger out, use Fonte's money. You could even boost like Fonte. I mean, you want to get rid of Watkins, I assume. Watkins and Buderick. Or I guess Buderick, if you want to keep Fonte as he's playing player, get rid of Robertson, Buderick, and Watkins, and do the best you can to get a decent, at least 1 forward, if not 2 forwards, if you can. That's what I'd be doing if I have your team, but you do what you do. Then he's got, maybe Buderick to Rochelle or Rochelle. I want Rochelle a couple of weeks ago and went to Luco instead, sadly. Yeah, I just missed doing the same thing, so I got lucky. Whether to go Rochelle or wait for Track or Took. Hopefully we answered that for you, buddy. Hopefully you're either watching this video now or watching it in the future, and I hope I answered that question for you. Fear the Mad Dog. If I'm putting your Supercoach team up on the screen and you're here in chat, please let me know. Or if you're watching in the future, I hope I'm helpful. Dogs are locked out early for the next 2 weeks. That's what his issue is. Okay. Yeah, that is an issue then if you can't use the loop there. Who doesn't Dacos play tonight then? He could vice captain Dacos. Isn't Dacos playing tonight? Can't. He should do Dacos then. Then he's still got it for tomorrow. Just take Dacos could go really big tonight. So Michael, if you're out there, vice captain on Dacos tonight, Gorn, and then, yep. So that'll work, won't it? If we go back, have a quick look at his team. So he's got Dacos, put the vice captain on Dacos, Chuck Smith here, put the vice captain on, put the emergency on Jackson, and if Dacos does well tonight, captain him. Captain Smith, and you'll be fine. And if he doesn't, let get Jackson score. So you still got options. Right. Him hangs out with us a lot. 3 trades: Watkins, Fonte, and Nando to Jackson rank for you, Amanda, I'll call him Rank from now on. Stop embarrassing myself. And Tom Edwards, yep, same as me. Holding Dev Robin, at least he won't leak cash. Planning to trade Dev Rob and Houston to Nas and Angry Bird next week. So your plans are very much like mine. Are you here? The thoughts of bringing in Sherry next week after suspension, Mike? If it suits your round 12 bye, maybe, but you fixed the soft matchup. You've missed most of the soft matchups. And honestly, in my opinion, the two best rucks are going to be Grundy and Gawn. So I'm waiting for Grundy and Gawn. And I think that even though the rucks are still scoring well, I think that he is one. He showed in that game when he got 60 that if there's, I think with Essendon, if there's not a lot of stoppages, he could score a bit lower. Now, he's not going to do that very often. Like you've seen, the rucks are still killing it, and he can still get 180 on his day. Don't say, look, Seano, he scored 170 this week. I'm not saying he can't score 170. He can. I think he might be a little bit more prone to dropping a lower floor score than some of the others on a particular low stoppage day. But I still think he'll be right there in the top 4 to 6, top 4, probably 4 to 5 rucks at the end of the season. But I don't, how much is he? He's expensive, right? I don't know if I'd be paying up for him. I'd at least have a look at him for a few weeks. Personally, I'm not thinking anybody else in the ruck line except for Gawn and Grundy. 682. I'm not paying 682 for him. I'll give you that much. And he's got a break even of 139. There's no way I'm paying 682. Not again. Not again. We did it once. No, I'm not doing that again. So, yeah, I would wait. I would wait. I think Grundy is still cheaper than that, isn't he? Isn't Grundy cheaper? He's 681. He's 683. They're the same price. They're the same price. And I honestly think Grundy will be better. I think it'll be a clear Gawn and Grundy as 1 and 2. But I've been known to be wrong, so I wouldn't be surprised. That 199 he got, don't forget, it was against the Eagles. Never forget, if your ruckman scores 150 plus, just check, make sure he was playing the Eagles. You reckon Nick Dacos will have a big night? He could do. He had a big score against them last time, I believe they played. A 127. He got a 150 against them last year, the year before. He could do. And he could be, he could be a little bit angry. I wouldn't be surprised if Butters has a big week this week. He could be a little bit angry after the whole tribunal farce that we saw. The whole farce where there's no evidence, but they find people anyway, and the mysterious microphone turns off out of nowhere. Yeah. All right, so the team here, Sinclair, Clark, McKercher. Hopefully McKercher kind of gets the roll back from a Luke Parker a little bit. Houston, Sarong, Farrow. Jackson Lindsay, you're making some money. That's nice. Bont, Smith. Nice to have Smith in your team, mate. Butters, Dacos, Bruin, Smith, Grill, Blamiers, Robertson. You talked about getting rid of Robertson next week. Philippou, Murdoch, Gawn and Jackson. Sheasel, Rochelle and Rank. So interesting. Flanders, Cook, Marshall and McAndrew. So, yep, nice team, buddy. I like your team. It's going to be, kind of interesting. Your round 12 looks a bit rough. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out from what I can see at the moment. So not too, but you don't have Petrarca, any other Gold Coast guys. So you're going to have to wait on them to after the bye, I would think. Jay Wilson, how you going? He says, just want your opinion, Seano. I traded in Rochelle, but not sure if I want him or Rank. Yep, we had that big discussion. I hope you're watching, buddy. I know you do watch sometimes. So, So I hope you're watching, buddy. We had that big long conversation where I think they're both a risk. Personally, I think it's a roll of the dice, but I would roll the dice in the favor of the rank just because he's done it before. But I could be totally wrong, and Rochelle could just get the CBAs from now on and be better. So I think it's kind of a crap shoot. Take a coin and give them heads or tails and pick whichever comes up. You got Nando's. You're going to hold Nando's. I don't like cold Nando's. I like my Nando's hot. Montepelli, Butters, Dacos, Bruin, Dersma. Love the Dersma pick. Smith, Grill, Blamiers, Murdoch, and Carroll. And kept Carroll, who we had to sell him last week, but we don't regret it too much for me because I got Farrow for him. Gorn and Jackson with McAndrew there. Sheasel, Rochelle, Flanders, Philippou, Marshall, Lombard, Edwards, White, and the Josh Dacos. Fairly deep. Yep, I think again with you if you are, did you say you're making? Oh, yep, you want getting a forward, which is the way to. Oh, you're thinking trading Rochelle, but want him in rank. Yeah, so you've already made your trades to get a forward. Yep, understandable. As like a lot of us, forward lines are looking a little bit grim, so totally understandable. Pick your poison. Let's put it that way. Pick your poison. Corey says, I don't want to be locked out of a flex spot, and you missed the Richmond matchup this week too. So who doesn't have the rucks? Yeah, the only way I'd be putting a ruck in my flex is if it's McAndrew with the plan to sell him in a few weeks' time. I don't want like a Gorn, Jackson, and a Grundy in my ruck, even though the scoring would be awesome, but the flexibility of your team is highly compromised. And right now, which is what I'm finding it much more fun and easy to move things around in my team, especially coming into upgrade season where it makes a big deal to be able to move all these new lovely DPP players that I've got around to get in whoever I want to get. I don't want to be restricted where I have to get a midfielder, or when some excellent midfielder comes in these 500k, I don't want to be like, I can only get a defender. So I will not think about locking 3 rucks into my team until maybe the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. Once basically my team's at full primo, probably the last trade I will be is to try and bring in a 3rd primo ruck, I would think. Like have Gorn and Grundy and bring in a Sherry or a Jackson or whoever's, if they're killing it. If they're the ones that are killing it, that's what I'm going to do. Hey, Ranger, how are you, Ranger? Supercoach Pro, we've got a legend in the house, everyone. If you're not already subscribed to Supercoach Pro, he does some excellent works. Go over and check out his channel and subscribe to him as well. Hope you're doing well, buddy. I'm doing awesome. In early in the morning due to work today, but you guys seem to really like the late night I did on Thursday night after the game last week. So maybe next week, I don't know. Do you guys prefer that? Due to work, I'll have the day off, so I'll be able to do straight after the game. And there were a lot of people on at that time, so I remember you were here, Karen. You were falling asleep listening to me. I was putting you to sleep. Hoping Cox gets a run this week. Been patient. Yeah, I thought of you, Karen. I did think of you when I saw that Darcy went down, and I remembered that you had Mason Cox in your team, and I thought, I think he will. I honestly think he will get a run this week because he's been killing it in the waffle, and he looked better than Darcy in the preseason. Probably as if you're Jackson owners, you don't want that. I think he'll take away more of the ruck than Darcy did. Plus, he can play up forward a bit. I think he'll play more ruck than what Darcy did if he plays, but we'll see that. Mr. Pro says, give a like for the vid. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the likes. How we're going. So if you haven't already liked, crew, we've got 17 people watching. I would love it if you would like at the moment. Thanks for that, Pro. You are a legend. You're waiting for how much more carnage can we possibly have, mate? I'm almost afraid to look at the team sheets. I had my rant. I hope you like my rant, buddy. I was inspired by you and I gave Nando's the rant, and then it must have busted his appendix because he went straight out and got his appendix. I gave the rant on Monday morning and he went and got his appendix out on the same day. So Seano rant must have broken Nando's. Sorry for all the Nando's owners. I give one little rant and his appendix burst. Hey, Jay Wilson, we just did your team, mate. I hope you were here. Did you see when we did your team? Who would I rather pick? We had a big discussion at the beginning of the video out of Rank or Rochelle, and I'm worried about Rochelle and I'm worried about Rank. They both, it seems the Rochelle scores go down when Rank gets the higher CBAs. Will he continue to get higher CBAs and still CBAs from Rochelle? Then he's a worry. Or will it go back to the way it was before? So, like I said, I think it's a roll of the dice. Me personally, it's really tricky. I was considering Rank, but I don't know. I think either of them could be decent forward picks. I think they'll all be they should be in that ballpark 80 to 100 at the end of the season. I just think Rank has a higher upside if he gets the CBAs. If he doesn't get the CBAs, he could be a disaster. You could be looking at 75 every week, with the occasional 90 or 100 if he gets, or a 80 or a 90 if he gets a goal or two. But if he gets the CBAs, if he gets like 40 plus CBAs, he can score 120s, 130s. So we saw Rochelle do that last week on 4 goals. I don't know. So, yeah, it's really tricky. I would potentially take Rank, but I don't blame anybody for picking Rochelle. He seems to be better this year. So I think it's tricky. I think all of those forwards are tricky, and that's why we spent like 30 minutes talking about them at the beginning. I'd be more confident to go up to a Zach Bailey, I know Petrarch's expensive, but it potentially even, a Tuke Miller next week, but I assume you need them this week to cover your forward line. So I know it's very tricky, mate. We looked at your team. We had a big chat about it. If you want to see all the stats that I brought up about the CBAs, go back and watch the beginning of the video, probably about 15 or 20 minutes into it, and we had a big chat about the forwards. So Ranger says he's going Perez, Anderson, and Petrarca in for Jakes. Well, I don't know if I like getting Jakes out, mate. Jakes has a lot of money to make. Buderick and Robertson. Ranger, I love you, buddy, but I don't think I'd be getting rid of Jakes. He's still got a lot of money. He's one of our best defensive rookies. He's had some really good scores. He's only got a break even of 5. Like this week at 67 was his lowest score. So if he comes out, just say he comes out and gets, they're predicting 69. It's a good prediction. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I said I wasn't going to make those jokes. If he does that 2 weeks in a row, that's another 50K he's going to make. And if he can snag a 75 in there, what do we got? 30, 40, 50, 60. It's almost another 70, 70, 80K you could get out of him. That's a lot to be selling. I think with you, I would prioritize either Petrarca next week, one of the cheaper forwards. You got 53, let's see, after reversal, you've got 24K left. So potentially if you did not get, and why don't you, I don't know, Anderson, you're going early as well. So if you're desperate to do this kind of move, I would suggest that you go Anderson, the other, like the Thomas kid from, and Perez down from Buderick. And yeah, I'd still be waiting on Anderson next week. He's a good pick and he could be very good, but you've got options this week on the bubble. So I would take those bubble options. And I also think Perez's job security is a little bit iffy. Supercoach Pro, I don't know. What do you reckon? I think people are talking about Scrimshaw. It was good that he held his spot last week, but I think he's cheap. He would have to hold his spot for 3 or 4 weeks. If you go there, I guess I understand it. Totally thought about it myself. But with the Anderson pick, I would be going the other Thomas kid, the Essendon Thomas kid, and saving Anderson for next week. You're probably going to want to do a downgrade next week to make some money. So why not get the kid that's on the bubble this week and do it that way? And then that might rob you of enough money to get Petrarca. Don't forget, Petrarca's not going to go up too much. So I think you can, if you desperately need a forward, which you kind of do, looking at your team. I mean, maybe a Zach Bailey, who I think is the best of the bad bunch. Or if you want to go on the cheaper options, you could try the Rank or the Rochelle, or those type of things. Yeah, I know it's a bit tricky, but I don't think I'd be getting rid of Jakes just to get Petrarca in this week. I'm getting Petrarca in this week because I think it's risky, me getting a Petrarca this week. I'm taking the risk, but I've got the money to do it in 2 trades. I'm not boosting, and I'm not getting rid of any of my cash gen. I don't think I'd be getting... I can't endorse getting rid of Jakes, even if it gets you Petrarca. I'd prefer... I don't know if you can afford it. Can you get Tuke Miller? Can you... Yeah, Zach Bailey or Tuke Miller, I think, if for a good forward, or pick your bunch with one of those the mid-price forwards who will probably be in the ballpark but have some risk attached to them. Where do I normally live stream? When, I guess you mean. Where? You mean where? I'm in Perth, Western Australia, over here, all isolated from the rest of the world. Because of my work situation, it'll usually be 1 week will be in the morning, which is this week, or the lunchtime if you are over in the eastern states. And the next week it'll be either before the game, which is what I have been doing, but I wasn't able to do that last week because of no power at the house. And I did a stream after the game, and that was very popular. So maybe we'll do that next week when I have the time off. We'll stream after the game. What do you guys prefer? You let me know. You prefer before the first game on Thursday, or before the Thursday game, or after the game? Because when I do the before the game, the Santa Bounce guys are on. So I do a little bit before them, and then I watch them before the game starts. Causa, you still with us, Causa? Who do you pick out of Callaghan, LDU, and Nas? Oh, Oliver. Which one of my children do you want me to pick? All right, I should learn how to do the polls in chat. I'm going to learn after this stream, if I've got time, how to do polls. And when we get questions like this in the future, we'll do a poll. Let's hear it in chat. Who do you guys think out of Callaghan, LDU, and Nas? I mean, I like Callaghan. Does he get a James Jordan tag this week? Does that really matter because you're picking him for a keeper all the season? Nas, is he going to get tagged again and get lower scores? I think the most consistent and safest is Callaghan. And if I was thinking about picking Callaghan this week, so I guess I have to go for me, I'm thinking Callaghan with a sneaky, he could have a stinker this week if Jordan goes to him. You would want to hope that he goes to Ash or Whitfield. But who knows? Who knows? There's the 3 of them, and he could go to any. I'm going Callaghan, Nas, because he has the... Actually, I think that's pretty rude to LDU. If you need someone with DPP, or if you need a defender, you're going Nas. But as a straight-up midfielder, I think LDU's proven himself. I think he's showing that he's super consistent, and he's not usually the tag. I mean, if they're going to tag someone, are they going to tag Sheasel? Are they going to tag him? I know it's very tricky. It's like choosing between your children, but I think I would choose Callaghan first, and then I'm a not too sure. Robertson is out for the season. Ranger, yep. Robertson is definitely out for the season. I will be trading him next week. ACL, the poor bugger, the poor guy. Agree with the 3 ruck point you make, ties you down. Yes, Supercoach Pro, you'd love to have those. I mean, every time you see like Grundy go 150, and if Jackson played solo ruck this week, he probably goes 150, and Gore plays 150. Yeah, that's awesome, but it does really limit what you can do, and especially during the upgrade season. The flexibility is gold because you can really, pick off the players from whatever line you want. And that's why I don't mind me blocking up my forward line at the moment, because if I get the best of the best, or the best who I think is going to be the best in the forward line, I can just concentrate on picking off those defenders and midfielders where there's a lot of DPP options to move them around to the flex if I need to. And yeah, looking at 500 or even less, like 480 to 550k fallen primos, and just picking off whichever one in line. Now I'm going to have to be very disciplined, and I'm going to have to say, listen, I know like Caleb Sarong's been up and down, but he's at 490k. You just have to pick him and hope. And that's what I'm going to have to do. And players like I desperately want Holmes, and he's going to be, if he holds his back roll, he's going to be a top 6 defender, and he's going to have to either wait or come down, and he might not, he might never come down, but yeah, unfortunately that's going to be it. So Causa, Sinclair, Ash, Clark, and same with Clark. If Clark gets to 490, I think I just have to buy him. No matter how up and down he's been, I just have to buy him. So that's going to be one of those things that we're just going to have to do, I think. Houston, Sarong, Jakes, Blamiers, Selwood, nice. Bont, Butters, Dacos, Holmes, Callahan. This is the midfield that I wish I had. This I would say, if I could pick any midfield in the game, that's the midfield that I'm picking. He has the midfield that I want and that most of us would probably love. Bruin, Grill, Farrow, Smith, Robertson, Murdoch, Jackson, McAndrew with Kalani White. Jackson and McAndrew, fine. Sheasel, Bailey, Flanders, Reed, Philippou, Marshall. Looks really nice, mate. And your ranking reflects it with a season ranking of 18, 4, 5, 6. I think your team is in a really good spot. You've got all the gun midfielders you want. You've got 3. I know a lot of people are worried about Clark, but I still think he's potentially, can knock on the door of a top 6 defender, depending on who else is closed. You've got the Houston problem, but, I think, I know Supercoach Pro, I think I was watching you, and you're going to dump Houston this week. I think I'm going to see what happens, no matter how much he's given me the shits, but I'm going to see what happens. Causa, yep, very nice, buddy. I hope you continue to do well, and I assume from you will with these teams. Dial up the internet. I noticed you were having a few internet problems with the other guy the other night, Supercoach Pro, yesterday. Can't afford tracks without getting out. I think you can wait on tracks, Ranger. I think tracks is not a must-have this week. I'm not getting rid of Jakes. If you have to wait, the money you make with Jakes this week, if you sold him next week, you'd be able to afford tracks next week. And who knows if tracks comes out and gets injured or plays low tog or whatever. So literally the money you make from Jakes this week will probably be enough to get you up to track next week. But then I guess if you're desperate for forward, yeah, that's just my advice. But mate, I don't trade out rookies while they're potentially making good money, and especially the ones that can get you good scores on field. I just don't trade them out. If I have to forego a primo for a week, and if that means my score is a little bit down, it means my score is going to be a little bit down, because I figure on the back end you will make it up when you have more premiums than the next person. Cheese. This is me. It is you. Yep. 160k in the bank after doing Watkins to Murdoch, holding Richards and Nando's. Very nice. Brave man. Very nice. Not sure what else to do other than trade Bud and Dev for Tuke Miller next week after he drops to his. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. That's my plan. Petrarca this week. Drop Dev Robs next week for Angry Anderson and get somebody up to Tuke Miller. So your team looks, you got the Wang, Whitfield, Clark, McKercher, Sarong, Jakes, Carroll, and Selwood. Very nice. Lots of money, Jen. Some players can get you some big scores. Smith, Butters, Dacos, Holmes. You got the Smith-Holmes combo. Richards hopefully plays for you. We know Anderson is out for at least one. Bruin, Smith, Grill, Blemires, Murder. Good hold, mate, on Richards. I know he played anyway, but I think for me, potentially Nando's could be a hold as well, but I just feel like it's going to be 2 weeks. Even at 2 weeks, it could be a hold with the amount of trades I got, but he's given me the shites and he's not going to play. So please don't make me have to rebuy you in like at 490k, Anderson. That would really make me angry. Sheasel, Flanders, Cook, Robertson, Philippou, Marshall. Yeah, you need a bit of forward action like a lot of us. Yeah, it sounds like a reasonable plan, mate. Watkins to Murdoch is definitely something you want to be doing. Your midfield's going to be pretty stocked once, you got a very, very deep midfield once Anderson comes back. And so you just need to work on that forward line. Took next week should be cheap. Sounds awesome. In that team, Finn McRae. For Ranger. Yeah, Finn McRae's not playing, so he's not making him the money that he wants, though, so I understand why he's not doing it. And Sharp. But yeah, if you are, what are you? Have you got, you don't have Murdoch? You need to get Murdoch this week, mate. You don't have Murdoch. Ranger, are you still with us? You're only there. You must get Murdoch if he plays this week. You must get Murdoch. You have to have Murdoch. He's the number one. He could be the number one rookie of the year. He's going to make almost like, he's going to make such a stupid amount of money. If he gets a 50, he's going to make 80K. If he can get an 80 somehow, he'll make you almost 100K. This is not one you can miss. This is a must-have. If that means you missed a premium this week to get Murdoch, you must get Murdoch. I don't say must-have most of the time, but that's it. So, yeah, I would definitely be doing like Sharp down to Murdoch, making yourself 50K there. And then you go Buderick down to potentially maybe using your DPP options to use Perez as well. And then whatever money you've got in the bank then, that's what you use. You either use that to get one of those cheaper forward guys or you save it for next week. Just do the 2 this week if you like, and then next week, boost next week, and just sacrifice a few points this week for having more money next week. And like I said, the money you make from Jakes, the money you make from Murdoch, that's going to help you a lot more than having a few extra points. Like, what happens if you get Petrarca in and he gets 60% time on ground and scores a 70? You've thrown away $150,000 for a 70. So I'm willing to take, like, I'm only getting rid of players that I don't need who are injured to get Petrarca, but there's no way I'm getting rid of Jarks, and there's no way I'm going, instead of Anderson, this should be Murdoch 100%. Get Anderson next week. Murdoch this week and Anderson next week 100%. And, yeah, McRae doesn't look like he's going to play. Updated. Are you updated? Here we go. There you go. Yeah, much better. I like this much better, Ranger. I like it much better. We're giving you a hard time. You've already made it. Buderick out for Murdoch and Robertson for Rochelle. I like this much better. You've still got your money. You're getting the best rookie this week. You don't need to get either of those two, the Thomas like I'm getting, or Perez this week. They both might be okay. They both might not be okay. So Perez might get dropped and Thomas might score 40s and 50s for the rest of the season. So, yep, much like that more. And your team looks all right. I mean, you've got a choice out of Lombard or Marshall for your forward line. Yes, it could suck, and having Philippou there doesn't help either. But this is a lot of problem that a lot of people are going to have, and I don't think we're just going to have to ride or die with one of these useless dudes, and hope that they can pull out a reasonable score. If Marshall is maimed in the back line, maybe you get him in the back line. But I think that's much better option over in the long term in your season. That will do much better. And the dead Kennedys, are you here, buddy? Karen, you've got 5 rucks in your team. You're lucky you can use flex to move them around. Did have Grundy and flex this week. Waiting for ZZ to get a game to go up in dollars. Yeah, he could get a game. At least you can move him to defense and everything. But yeah, he could get a game. Wayne says he likes Nas. Karen says she likes LDU. He's in her team. Corey, with my team, I feel like going to see how Jagger and Roses go will decide Grill or Philippou on bench depending on the score. I'm going to loophole Smith, which I didn't do last week, which was a mistake, so I don't want to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to loophole Smith, and if he succeeds, then I will chuck. I've still got the Sharp kid, which I will put on the field. Dead Kennedys. All right, we've got Wangani Malira, Dacos, Archie Roberts. Very nice, my friend. You got some big scoring boys back there. Blamiers, Lindsay, and I'm not going to even... Should we pronounce? Let's get Ralph ready. Condogenius? No, not even close.
Me fail English?
That's impossible. Thank you, Ralph Wiggum. Yep, so... Jake's probably comes back on the field for him then. Did you say what your trades were, buddy? Oh, I missed your team? All right, we'll go and do you. Sorry, Samson. Didn't do it on purpose. Me and me scrolling. Bontempelli, Butters, Dacos, Windhanger, Reed, Brune, Sarong, Farrow, Smith with the loophole like I'm doing, Grill, Murdoch. Grundy and White with McAndrew. It's obviously coming on with Jackson. It's got the 3, very nice. Sheasel, Pickett, Tracy. I'm going to go with Tracy. Bolton. Ooh, yeah, that was a Laylor. I mean, at least you've got people in your forward line which aren't rookies, but it is a bit of mid-price madness going on there. So, and you've got Caddy as well. Might be time to cull some of these forward dudes. If I was you, Dead Kennedys. But this might not be the week to do it. These are the ones you probably want to... The good thing is if you are making, like if you're going down, if you can find a player to go down to a Angry Anderson next week, maybe you can get a Laylaw. I mean, I never trust key forwards. They'll always drop a stinker here or there. And Bolton, I never trust Bolton again, but especially with Young coming back this week. But I think you've got them now. You have to hold them. Sam might be the one you might be thinking about moving on, but have a go. You keep them all this week. You need forwards anyway. Keep them, check them out, see how they go. Could be a good thing. You know, if he starts smashing out of the park, he could be one that other people start looking at it. You never know. All right, Samson, sorry again, mate. Where are you? Tio? I missed Tio as well. Here you go. I missed 2 of you. Sorry, Tio. This week's trades: Laylor to Petrarca, Anderson to Callahan, Robertson to Murdoch. 197 in the bank. Don't really have a plan. What Holmes or Ash next, you think? Yep, both good targets. Like the trades, mate. Like the trades. Sinclair, Whitfield, Houston, Sarong, Grill, Jarks, Lindsay, and Gibcus. Reasonable. Bont, Butters, Dacos, Callahan, Walsh, Brune, Smith, Farrow. Did you say? Didn't you? I thought you said you got. Oh, you're targeting Holmes. Yep. Farrow, Blamiers, Carroll, Murdoch. You got lots of money. Gawn and Jackson with Edwards, who's still making money and giving you coverage. Got a nice 74 for you this week. Very nice. Shees, Petrarch, Flanders, Cook, Philippou, Marshall, McAndrew, Steen, and Murray. I was really close to going Steen last week. I'm so glad that I went Farrow, but I totally understand how you went there, especially with your ruck situation. Yep, looks good. You've got Petrarca in for this week, like myself. You've got a bit of rough action going here on the forward line, but like I said, most of the community is that way. I assume if you're going to have, it's where we're all suffering a little bit, I think, in the forward line. So very nice team, Samson. Very nice. How are you doing? Ranks 32,000. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I do like the trades. The Petrarca, Callahan, and Murdoch are all, people that you would love to have in your team. So yeah, I was seriously considering doing something similar to get the Callahan into my team. I forgot to put that up on screen. Corey, feel how Jagger and Roses go. Decide on Grill or Philippou on the bench depending on the score. Yep, makes sense. Don't forget to loophole if you can, people. Yep, mate, you're getting him. Yep, rank. I'm a bit behind. Let's catch up on the chat. What do we do with Zorko? How long is he out for? Two to 3 weeks. I think both options are valid. If it was 2, I would say hold, even though I'm not doing it. I'm not following my own advice on Nando's. He is an old man with old man calf, so I think it depends a little bit. But if you're a similar team like to mine, where you've got tons of decent rookies in the defense, I think you can hold. But if you're going to jump, you've got lots of options too. I mean, straight over to Archie Roberts. I assume they're about the same price, right? How much is Zorko worth? 509. So you only need like another 10K to get up to Archie Roberts. If that was something that you like the look of. But I think if it was 2 weeks, if you're going to hold, it's easier to hold there in defense with the rookie coverage. Again, I should be listening to my own advice. I think my problem more is why I'm not listening to my own advice and holding Nando's is because of the forward line, and I'm more concentrating on getting the rookies off my forward line, and I'm happy to play the rookies in the midfield and in the back line, which is why I'm happy to get rid of Nando's this week, even though I'm sure he'll come back and get 120 or 130 just to punish me for it. McRae is for your loopholes. Fair enough. Good. He's got DPP. Yep. And he plays lots of Sunday games, Ranger. Nice. I like it. Wayne, you're here. Nice to see you, buddy. Within your team. Doolittle Dons, Zorko, Butterick, and Dev Robertson for 2 forward primos and a rook, or Zorko and Bud to get Gawn and a rook. Well, you always want 2 primos over the 1, depending on what you're calling a primo, though. Are you calling a primo one of these risky guys that I'm talking about? Like, are you calling, Cam McKenzie, or sorry, Connor McDonald a primo? Are you calling Rochelle or a Kelly or a Yo a primo? Or are you talking like Petrarca, Bailey? If you're talking like Tuke Miller and Zach Bailey, I'd be saying Tuke Miller and Zach Bailey, just because no matter how good Gawn is, Tuke Miller and Zach Bailey could get 130 each on a game. And so there's 260 points. And, Gawn on the absolute best day, whatever gets 200 points. So even though you really want Gawn in your team, the two primos is always valid. But if you're telling me you're going to get, Connor McDonald, who could easily get a 75 or an 80, and you were going to get a Rochelle or a Rank, who again could also get you a 75, you might get 150 in total, and Gawn could score 150. So that's the way I look at it. I'm like, if my two primos can outscore the big price dude, I'll take that every day of the week. And you're getting rookies off your field. That is the preferred option, but it depends on what you class as primos or not. Ranger, can you not field both Farrow and Murdoch? They're both very good fieldable options. Just the fact that Murdoch is his first week back, I'd probably go Farrow. If there's no other way, I couldn't get Farrow into my flex or anything like that. We'll go back to your team in a second. You're your team next. So, Tio, we'll do your team because we missed you. I apologize. Hopefully you're still here in chat. Traded Dev, Butterick, and Houston to Murdoch, Edwards, and Track, and save 400k in the bank to go to Marshall or Nas. Sounds nice. Oh, 20 viewers. Don't forget to like, you 20 people. You're here already. You're already listening to my BS. You might as well give me a tick off on my BS by giving me a like. Go Marshall to Nas or Witt to Lombard to Myers. I've traded Dev, Buderick, and Houston to Murdoch, Edward. Traded Dev Robertson, Buderick, and Houston to Murdoch, Edwards, and Track. 400k in the bank to go Marshall or Nas or Witt. So that's for the week after. Sounds reasonable, Tio. Edwards. Who's Edwards? You don't mean the Collingwood Edwards guys playing this week, do you? Oh, Thomas Edwards. Yep, cheap Thomas Edwards. Yep. I keep forgetting the poor kid's name. Yeah, I don't think he's a kid. I think he's a mature age actually, which makes it even better. Okay, yep. We look at your team. I could have seen that. Sinclair, Clark, Roberts, Sarong, Blamiers, Farrow, Lindsay, and Marshall. Looks reasonable. You got Marshall on the bench just in case. Bont, Butters, Dacos, Isaac, Heaney. Nice one, buddy. Nice score last week. And Holmes and LDU. Wow, what's your ranking? Yeah, good ranking. 3,617. You've got a absolutely smoking midfield. It is on fire. Literally burning up the page. Your midfield is. Jackson and McAndrew. Jake's down here. You also got Petrarca and Flanders. A bit low on the forwards, but your midfield could literally just, like, if Bont had gone off and Dacos had gone off last week, look how many points you would have scored. This is the advantage of having a stacked midfield. It might, when it doesn't work, when they have low games, it hurts you because you've got some rookies on other paces. But if they all go off on the same round, you could have team of the week. Just because, if they all go huge, the theory never seems to work out for me when I stack the midfield. It always seems to be better to be consistent across the whole field for me, but I've tried it a few times. The weeks it works looks pretty nice. The weeks it doesn't work looks good. It doesn't look so great, but yeah, 3,600, nice rank, buddy, and yeah, good luck with dragging it back some more. Try for that top 1,000 or top 500. All right, Ranger, let's go back and have a look. What were we saying? Sharp or because you got, yeah. See, this is the problem with having your rucks locked up. So that's locked up there. I would prefer that you have move Grill for Farrow. I would be fielding Farrow over both Grill and Sarong, to be honest. And Blamiers, look, he's good too. He's good too. I would field both Farrow and Blamiers over Sarong and Grill. But it is rookie roulette. Oh, and you got Jakes as well. I see what you traded Jakes now. You've got a lot of them there. You're just going to have to play rookie roulette, buddy. And it could sometimes when it's up to rookie roulette, I just go by the averages. So Farrow's got the highest average. He makes it on in the back line. Murdoch, we don't really know what Murdoch's going to do. The role, he played really well and he's got 2 big scores, but he's not like he's got a midfield role. He's got like a high half forward role, which seems to be scoring well in Supercoach this year. So, I mean, you definitely have a loop option where you can loop either one of these earlier games and then bring on Murdoch if it has, I'll bring on maybe Sharp. Is that a possibility? Can you be doing that? So Sydney play early, so potentially you can have you could have Sarong on the bench lit up. And then if Sarong gets like more than a 70, you probably, 70 or 80, then maybe you leave Murdoch off. Like I say, I would have Grill. I'd have Farrow on over Grill. I'd have Grill on the bench, to be honest, and I'd have Farrow over both of these guys. He's just scoring more than them. So he's the one I would definitely have on the field. And I'd probably have Jakes on the field as well over these 2 guys. But it could go either way. It could go out of all your rookies. If you pick the exact right ones, I'd be really surprised because it's going to be a miracle. But the good thing is you've got the good rookies. You've got the good rookies and you're making money. So, Ranger. But yeah, from your current setup, I would definitely set up a loophole. Sarong plays early, so he's perfect to have a loophole here. Farrow back there for Sarong. Potentially Blamiers there instead of Blamiers is outscoring Grill quite a lot. So I would, if this was my team, I would set it up as I would have Sarong here on the bench with the emergency on him. I would have Jakes and Farrow. The Blamiers and Jakes are the ones that I'm not sure about. I definitely have Farrow. I definitely have Sarong down here. And I would have, I'd bring on Murdoch if Sarong got less than like a 70. If he gets more than the 70, I lock him in. Otherwise, I might roll the dice with Murdoch. That's how I would set it up. But you've got a lot to choose from. Yeah. So, Corey, you've got the same problem. You've got the same problem as Ranger then. Yeah. Sorry, boys. I'm sorry. I went back and got you both eventually. Yeah. My fingers got a bit fancy with the scrolling. My mouse moves a bit too quick sometimes. Tough decisions. Zorko will be top 6. Doolittle Dons. Yeah, I think he's a good chance to be top 6. And I guarantee you, if I see him at 500K after he comes back from his injury, it's going to be very hard for me to refuse picking up Zorko at that super cheap price. Yeah. So, like I said, I think holding and selling are reasonable options. If you can use him as a loophole this week, maybe if you've got the same, you got $1 million defensive rookies there, maybe you use him as a loophole, and that makes it a little bit more justified of not selling him. Then you can, potentially get the best score out of there. Doolittle Dons is your team. we can go do it through the leagues. Didn't like it? Why don't you find it? Have we already? Oh, there you are. We've already got you. We've already got you. Here you are, my friend. Never nor jealous of a midfield. Yeah, some pretty nice midfields. I know I drooled on the microphone a little bit. I'll have to clean that drool off the microphone a little bit later. Thanks for the any time, Rang. I do my best. I can't say. I mean, people look at my score and look at my score. You can feel it, but I do my best to give the best advice I possibly can, mate. Top 6 chances. Callum Wilkie started well. Ooh, top 6 chance. Big words, my friend Corey. Big words. We might have to have a look at that. We might have to have a big look at that before we get into our friend's team there. Oh, geez, the scores don't lie, do they? The scores don't lie. 104, 114, 129, 102, and 125. Some pretty good scores there. I mean, at the moment, he has to be up there, right? At the moment, he has to be up there in the convo. I mean, I fancy the person who picks him, but, you know. So, Doolittle Dons, round 5 ranked 9,800. Nice. Overall ranked 8,695. Very nice, buddy. Very, very nice. Sinclair, Whitfield, Dacos. Yeah, Zorko. So, I think, like in the Zorko situation for your team here, I think it would be perfect to, if you wanted to hold him, chuck him on the bench. You put Farrow on there. And then, yeah, you chuck Sarong here. Have a go at the loophole. If Sarong gets it, if Sarong gets a decent score, you go for it. Or even, and then bring on, I mean, when are they? When do Brisbane play? Brisbane play in not till Sunday. So yeah, I think if you want to hold Zorko, he's a perfect loophole this week option. He's a perfect loophole option. Then do you have an option for a loophole here? No. So you would have to choose the one or the other. You've got no, I can't do anything in the ruck. And you've still got, this is before you've made your trades, Doolittle Dons. Have you made your trades yet? You probably told me what your trades are. You've obviously got loophole options here with Dev if you're not trading Dev. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Good ranking, my friend. Jealous of your ranking. So very nice. Very, very nice. Again, let's all thank Mr. Supercoach Pro for dropping by. I'm not too sure if he's still here. It's probably at work or doing something like that. But don't forget to drop by and check out his channel and sub him. Always nice to get some of the big dogs in the Supercoach world come and visit my little channel. So, yeah. And if you haven't liked already, Seano's on to the likes now. Give me a like. How many are we up to? Let's see. There's 22 people watching and we have 16 likes. Come on, guys. We can at least get 6 more likes then. You're watching. You're already watching. I'm already hurting your eyes, so you might as well like. What's the time? All right, we're going to do another potentially 15 minutes, and then I'll go and get lunch. We're not going to do a 4-hour stream in the morning. We can do a 4-hour stream in the evening if we want after the footy, but we can't do one in the morning. That was a long one, wasn't it? A couple of weeks back. So back to my team. If you are thanks, legend. Thank you. You are the legend, my friend. If you're just joining us and you haven't seen what I'm doing this week, this is what I'm doing. Anderson out, Edwards in, Petrarca in, Buderick out. Save the boost. Save the boost. And next week, so the plan next week will be, should we bring out the we'll bring out the video and then we'll bring out the spreadsheet. Nerd! All right, where's the spreadsheet? Still called the crazy plan spreadsheet, but it's not really that crazy. Okay, how much money are we starting with, Mr. Seano? If next week we will have 173,500. 173,000. I'll do this because I can't see the chat otherwise. 173,500. I said right. 173,500. And we will be getting rid of Dev, who is worth, maybe if I bring it up on the other side here, it's easier, then I can just leave it up. And boosting Gorn next week. Cool. If you really want Gorn, I totally understand. I did it. I can't say much. I spend up on him. He's bloody expensive though. He is expensive. I don't know. Don Doolittle, just a quick check of your, I don't know if you really need, you've got Jackson McAndrew, mate. I think you could potentially wait and see if Gorn comes down. I mean, he's probably not coming down, but I think you could do a lot with that extra 100K. You don't particularly need him at the moment. I think if I was you, buddy, I'd be trying to do something with me forward line before I worried about getting Gorn in. Just shoring up that forward line a little bit, trying to get some of those rookies off the field. Then worry about Gorn later on in the season. Kind of missed him if he's, now, like I said, I'm kind of looking at, I won't be spending 600K on any players, but I look at Holmes here and I really want Holmes. At the moment, he's the only one that I'm really thinking that I would pay over 600K for at the moment is Max Holmes. But even then, I'm thinking, hey, we'll do it later. We'll wait to see. If he gets DPP status, I think it makes him worth even more. And then we will consider it. For the moment, I'm looking 500, 550K players. If you're over 550K, it better not be much, and you better be in a super, uber primo. So what were we saying? That the spreadsheet, the nerd spreadsheet. Dev is out, and Dev is worth 251 on the dot, 251. So that gives me 424,000 next week. And if I was to say and drop a whichever rookie, even I could even do, if Sharp still doesn't have a game, I could even be Sharp. I mean, hopefully he gets a game eventually, but he's just sitting there clogging up the place. The only thing is he's my loophole. Oh, no. Yeah, he's still my loophole next week. I also can still get rid of Duff Tyler and make 100K here. So I would have 570K next week. And that way I would not, because I need to get a player in, don't I? And that would be AA, Mr. Angry Anderson. And Angry Anderson is 113,500. 113,500. So it only leaves me 460K. So I can't use Sharp. I'm going to have to delete somebody who's worth more money. Now, if I want Miller, and Miller cost, we're going to guesstimate that Miller's price is going to be if Miller gets 100 this week with no Nando's, could be the way he'll be at 415k. Let's 515k. Sorry. So basically, I need to sell someone who's more than 204,000. I would have to sell someone who's more than 204,000 to get Miller next week, which, I mean, if Lombard could get just a little bit more and make it to 200,000, that'd be nice. I mean, it could be a Philippou. It could be a Smith if Smith got another 50 or 60 score and wasn't getting CBAs, it could be him. Basically, I'll probably pick the Rook, who's made me the decent amount of money. The one I would really like is Lombard, but I don't know if he's going to make us enough money. How much would this useless Lombard need to get me? What was the number that we want? We want 204,000 on the dot. So how much would this useless guy? 200. If he gets a 50, he gets to 202. What if he gets a 60? We just get there. If Lombard could get a 60, he would be worth 205,000. And if Torque Miller could stay 100 or below, Torque Miller. Do we bring out Ralph for that? Do we need Ralph for the Torque Miller?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
So yeah. So I'm going to barrack for Miller to get about a 90 to 100. Not enough to scare me, like get another 75, but 90 to 100. And that's enough to give me some confidence. And for Leonardo Lombando to get a 60 plus. How many times has he gone 60 plus this year so far? Once. I don't like my odds. I might be a little bit of a gambling man, crew, but I don't like my odds. But that is the plan. And if he fails, then maybe, we're just going to pick whoever we have to. And maybe, you never know, maybe we hold a week off. If all the rookies are still making money, I think you just have to hold a week. And then we can do potentially the week after. Maybe there's, do the one downgrade next week to get Angry Anderson. And then we go somebody else the week after. Maybe Lombard's gone up enough if he gets another price rise, and maybe there's another rookie on the horizon. Anyway, crew, that's my plan. We didn't really talk too much about captains and vice captains this week, which we can do if you want. We've got a few minutes. Who are you guys going to be doing as your captains and vice captains this week? I think I'm not reading into it. I'm not going to go into all the, they're playing this team, they're playing that team. I'm just going to go vice captain Bont into captain Gorn. They're both 700k. One of them has to get a big score, right? I mean, yes, I could try Dacos this evening, but if I'm paying up all these money for these guys, I reckon I should at least give them a chance. So I think I'm just going to not overthink it. Just chuck it on those two. Even though against Brisbane, Gorn is predicted to get 185. I don't think he's getting 185. Maybe this is because in previous times he hasn't. I mean, surely Sam Draper. How do they get 185? You got 119 against them this last year and 79 against them the year before and 138 in the 2004 as well. Where do they get 185? This is why I'm predicted to get 2,300. They're saying that Gorn, as my captain, is going to get 185. Where do they pull this out of? Where do they pull that crap out of? Give us a Ghost Bakes. Yep, I saw him on Supercoach Pro as video, so you can definitely give him check out his channel and give him a follow as well. Mass, how are you, Mass? Good to see you. Karen, Lombardo and Scary are both needing to go out of your team, keeping an eye out for a cheapie to bring in next week. Yep, me too. Yep. We can have a look at your team, Mass, before we take off. Like I said, you can let me know who your captain choices are. For other captain options, I think very, very, very quickly, go and check out my captains. I'm going to attach the link down there for both my round review video. If you didn't see my rant, it's a good one. Check it out. Had a nice big rant and dummy spit at Nando's. And yeah, I think I broke his appendix. I apologize to Nando's. I gave him a rant and it broke his appendix. And also my trades and captains videos. But very quickly, I think I said I like you got to always go the Bailey Smith or Holmes option. As vice captain, you can also go Dacos, you can go Bont. You're all decent choices. Grundy versus the GWS Ruck is also a very good choice. I don't think I'd be picking anybody from Gold Coast versus Essendon. You don't want to see what track, how he goes back before you worry about putting the captain on him. Hawthorn versus Port, tough matchup. Still, I think Zach Butters might be angry. He might be an angry man, yelling and swearing at people, apparently, saying naughty words, apparently. What a debacle that was. Don't want to get into that very much, but there's no evidence on either sides and the microphone's missing, and you can not and make a judgment. I don't think any real court in the world would be able to convict you if there's no evidence. There's no evidence, and it's he said, she said, and the court convicts you. I don't know how that works. Adelaide, St Kilda. I mean, maybe Nass, but probably not. A lot of people are looking at Sheasel versus Richmond. I think that is a reasonable choice. And then Melbourne, Brisbane, like me, you can always go Gawn. And West Coast of Freo, if Luke Jackson is named and Mason Cox is not named, that is a very, very decent matchup. But if Mason Cox is named, I would stay away from it. So they're the options this week. Like I said, I'm not going to deep dive too much into them. A lot of other content creators go really deep dive. I'm going to deep dive into them about as much as my own picks. I'm just going to go Bontempelli, Gawn. Don't out-psych myself or whatever. Bont had an average score last week in bad weather and whatever, so I figure he'll come back. And if he doesn't deliver, I'm looking for a 120 plus. A 120 plus I will lock in. Less than 120 I will swing the whatever you want to call it. I'll have a go at Gawn. I was going to say swing the axe, but that is not correct. Heaney into Butters. A bit of Heaney butter versus GWS. Yeah, Heaney's been on fire, so I think that is fine. Karen. Yeah, I think he could be fired up after the fiasco, yeah. Slipping Jimmy. Mike's conveniently off. Yeah, conveniently off and then straight back on again a few seconds later. Yeah, that's what you said. Can anyone see the umpire grabbing his mic like that? Like, how does that disappear? Who was it? SDS was saying that he works in audio production and they usually just don't turn off by themselves. So a bit of conspiracy theory there, but it is a bit strange that the most important time when we need to know what's said. And I still don't know about the whole sports bet thing. I know it's not. I know it's about horse racing, but can you really work for Sportsbet and be an AFL umpire as well? But I do agree with what I saw some of the other commentators on footy shows and whatever say, that it's absolutely ridiculous that our umpires of AFL aren't full-time employees. That should be their number one job. They should train during the week like an AFL player does with exercise and decisions and watching videos. That should be their training. They have to go to training every single week. They get paid a decent wage, and that's their job. That's what it should be. And also with the dumbass jury Was it like they said on one of the footy shows, one of the jurors was in the car? I'd be furious if I was Zach Butters. Like, you're deciding on my integrity and you're making that decision from the car. You're not like, on loudspeaker while you're trying not to get run up the ass by a truck or something. Like, surely you need to be in a room taking notes and listening, with all your concentration to make a decision about like this. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that we don't have it needs to be like an ex-judge or something, and they need to, and like things like this where it's he said, she said, you can't just say, oh, we don't believe you, we don't believe you. There's no evidence. So it gets thrown out. Unfortunately, somebody's lying or there was a miscommunication. It just needs to go. The fact that there was any fine or anything is stupid. Whether I think that he did it or not, the fact of the matter is there's no evidence. So how can you charge someone? Sure, and they ticked off on it, slip and jibby. How can it not be a conflict of interest? It doesn't matter if it's about horse racing, right? He still works for them. What's the... It doesn't mean that, that someone can't ask him about footy, Hey, I work for Sportsbet. You want to make, do you want to do something that we can put on a bet? Get our mate to put on a bet. All you have to do is give a few bad decisions on the weekend. It's just a bad look. Whether it doesn't matter. I mean, apparently he's grand final, done umpiring grand finals and things, and it's good. I mean, but it's just a bad look. It shouldn't be done. And it's a bad look that the umpires of a $1 billion industry can't even be paid correctly. And maybe the umpiring would be a lot better if they did get some training and spent the weeks watching videos and being correct and, being fitter. Maybe we wouldn't have had to get rid of the bounce and stuff if they trained for the bounce every week. Just saying, maybe we didn't have to get rid of the bounce. Anyway, what was I doing before I was crapping on about? We were going to look at somebody's team, Shorty's team. In the league number 1, is it not? There you are, buddy, coming second, and you got overall rank 1,000. That's right, you're doing very well this. So congratulations again, buddy. Backline looks good. Jakes, Sarong, Grill, Lindsay. Lots of money being made there. Bont, Butters, Dacos, Steele, and Walsh. Very nice. Brune Smith, Murdoch, Cook, Blamiers, Farrow. Did you say what your trades are going to be this week, mate? Gorn, McAndrew, ZZ, Sheasel, Pickett, Flanders. Oh, you've got the Lukosius, Robbo. At least you don't have Buderick as well. You got the other double. You've got the other double issue where, where you're probably doing stuff to try and solve that. Yeah, exactly, Mass. That's they should be paid a proper wage. Our team, the big teams, instead of bringing in teams, I'm going to apologise for saying this again, getting Gold Coast fans out there. Instead of bringing in teams like Gold Coast and wasting millions of dollars for teams that are potentially never, ever going to win a premiership and where they have bugger all fans that don't give a shit about the team, except for a few. And if you're out there in Gold Coast fan, I apologise. All the power to you, but there's not many of you. I don't think I'm offending too many people. I'm probably offending a few, but I'm not offending too many of you because there wouldn't be too many of you out there, because putting a team in a transient holiday destination, which is a rugby, powerhouse, is the stupidest idea that the AFL have ever done. And all the other big clubs around the world, we give them their money so they can pay for the club. And they gave them millions of, picks and stuff, and it's taken to now to them even to get near the finals. And at least GWS, there's a decent population in that area of Sydney and Western Sydney, even though it probably wasn't the smartest idea to do that either. But Gold Coast is just a gigantic money pit of a mistake, and it always will be. And take that money, have professional umpires, pay them a proper wage, make sure they train their minds and their bodies during the week, exercise, make sure they're nice and fit. They can run to the one end of the ground or the other, and they can run to the other end of the other. Watching videos, watch all the games, not just one game. They have to watch all the games for the week and they have like a head of umpiring who goes through and he says, this is wrong, this is right, this is what you can do is better, this is what you shouldn't be doing, every single week. And surely the umpire would be better. I don't mind paying for that. I'd much prefer to pay for that than pay for the Gold Coast, and I much prefer to pay for that than, pay for some stupid bloody microphones at work every week. We can give you a bump in your salary if you do. Trades in Heaney and a rookie, out Houston and Lukosius. Okay. Heaney and you're going to run Philippou then. How's your forward line going to look? You're running both Philippou and Lombard in the forward line. Mass, rather have 6 primo mids and Bruin and have all the mid defense rookies on field in the back line and McCluggage in like 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm almost 100% going to get McCluggage as long as I can get the money to get there. That is where I'm looking, Mass, if people want to know. In the future, like Tuke Miller next week, McCluggage the week after or the week after that, depending on, probably have to be a couple of weeks after that. Hopefully around the 550 mark, hopefully. And that's where I'm looking at. So how many people we got watching? I think it's that time again where you like, if you haven't already liked. How did we go last time when we asked people to like? 17, we got 1. That's not very nice. 23 people watching. Everyone give me a like now. We're going to wrap it up for the day. Everyone has been awesome as usual. Little pats on the backs for everyone. And love chatting with you guys. Hope I helped some way, especially with like the forward crisis that we're having this week. I will just leave my trades up there so people can see them. Really appreciate everybody being here. You guys are legends. Thank you very much, Karen. And as usual, before we head off, we will say goodbye to everybody. And people, I don't know if anyone mentioned, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the after the game on Thursday or the before the game? Like every second week's got to be at this time, unfortunately. I know a lot of us are working and, it's lunchtime for a lot of people out there. But if I'm to do a stream on Thursday where I can do it at any time, before the game, like early afternoon or after the game? Karen says after. Okay. Karen, thanks, Karen. Thanks, Slipping Jimmy. Mass, thank you. Thank you for everyone who put in their teams today. Sorry for the guys I forgot and then went back to. Doolittle Dons. We do try to get to everyone's comment and everyone's team. Orangutank, Cheese, good to see you guys. Wayne Randall's good to see you. Corey, good to see you. Always nice to have the ladies man here. Supercoach Pro, don't forget to go and sub to his channel and the other gentleman as well, which was, so I'm having a mental blank. He was, someone put it down there in chat as well. I apologize, just having a mental, Ghost Bakes as well. Go and subscribe to him as well. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's my stomach eating itself. Jay Wilson, good to have you here. Oliver, nice to have you here too. F1K. Don't forget to join the Discord, everybody. Mike, Val, good to see you. I wouldn't be bringing in Sherry next week. I think we answered that one. Kua Yang, nice to thank you for chatting with us. James Annabelle, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today, or Annabelle James. Site 806, thanks for being here. Who else have we got? I think that is it. Sorry if I missed your name, if you want to chat, and thank you so much for putting your teams in and hanging out with me on this Thursday morning. I hope you all have a great week in Supercoach, and I hope you all have a great week in general, and I will talk to you all again very soon.